God bless, God bless, God bless, guys. Welcome to the live stream. This is take 2 because for some reason I was just trying to live stream before and it wasn't actually going through for some reason. It didn't seem like it was working, but welcome back to the Apologetic Arena Live. I'm your host Israel. You can also call me King Context, and today we're going to be showing you how to defend your faith again as a Christian. Today we're continuing our series of what we're calling Women Wednesday. We're defending Christian women, the honor of Christian women, and hopefully by the grace of God showing many Muslims, many Muslim women why Islam does not honor women better than Christianity. So we've had some good conversations over the weeks in just the previous sessions, but at the same time we've also had many reports from Muslims trying to shut down the stream. So when I went to start live streaming a moment ago and it was acting funny, I wasn't too surprised, right? So it says I'm live, I look live. Let me just double check on my end. Okay, looks like I'm live. Guys, just let me know in the comments as well, right? Send me a comment, send me something which is corroborating that yes, I'm live. It looks like I'm live. All right. And this is why I always say we have to obviously make sure that we are liking, right? Let's just do more of the house cleaning first. Make sure we are liking, we are sharing it, we are subscribing to the channel to make sure that we can go out as much as possible to all the different outlets. What I'm even going to do actually. Okay, so it seems like things are moving and people are actually coming in and people are liking it. Okay, that's good. It looks like the chat is working fine as well. It wasn't working the last time when I just tried to sort this all out. For some reason, okay, it's not letting me it's not letting me pin the chat right now, which interesting. All right, guys. Well, definitely, this is why I always say you have to pray over our streams. You have to pray for the people that we're going to speak to, because this is spiritual warfare, guys. So things that work normally, that should be there. Okay. So for some reason, I don't know if. All right, let's just run with it. All right, cool. So things seems to be cool. All right. So Sam Apologetics is here. All glory to God. The Bible says, "Love your wife." You can't beat that. Amen to that. Thank you for tuning in as well. It looks like I'm going to need one of the mods to post the link. Basically, just to copy my comment and post it, and then you should be able to pin it. Just so any Muslim who wants to join can call in and join the conversation. It's actually been, I hope your week's been blessed so far, right? Just as we get ready midweek to do this live stream today. It's actually been an interesting couple of days. Even today, funny enough, I was speaking to one of my Muslim friends who I met online years ago, and it's interesting because he was trying to convince me today how Jesus and Abraham were Muslims, and it was funny to say the least, right? It's funny the lengths that Muslims need to go in order to try and prop up their religion. But lest we get sidetracked today, right? We're on a mission. We've got an objective. So I just remembered I didn't even load up the video. I loaded up a different video, but what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to get this video ready, because we have typically started with this video, right? This is what got us started on this trail, right? A Muslim man decided to post a video online talking about how Islam honors women more than Christianity. So since then, we've been having conversations, inviting Muslims, any Muslim who wants to have a conversation about this topic, to come up and tell us why that guy's right. Why and how does Islam honor women more than Christianity? Which obviously we know as Christians doesn't make sense. I highlighted a post earlier on from Sam Apologetics talking about a powerful passage in the scripture.
7th century Islam.
We're going to play this video in a moment, and then we'll begin. And again, any Muslim who wants to call in, the link isn't pinned in the chat right now, but by God's grace, it will be pinned shortly, just so Muslims know that they can call in and they can obviously have a conversation. Let me just do one more thing. Where is it? Okay, cool. All right, so look like we're good to go. Let me X this off. All right, guys, make sure you're liking it. Make sure you're subscribing, all that good stuff. It goes a long way. It pushes this out so more Christians can see and learn how to defend their faith. And also at the same time, Muslims who are seeking and are interested and curious about this topic can come and learn about the two religions, how the two religions stack up. Okay, so this is the video that set this off. In fact, let me do this. All right, so this is... All right. Okay, cool. So this is the video, guys, that set everything off. This Muslim guy decided to post this video, and we're going to watch it in a second. And guys, again, as you are joining, as you are coming in, make sure you're hitting the like button, etc. But this is the video that set everything off. And again, any Muslim who wants to call in, we can have a conversation about the different things that we've had conversations about. All right, let's
7th century Islam was saying women don't have to take the surname of their husband. In Islam, the mother, there's a saying of the Prophet that says paradise lies under the feet of the mother. Somebody asked the Prophet with regards to who deserves my companionship, my time, to the mother. Said, who next? Your mother. Who next? Your mother. Who next? Your father. This is the rights that are given to the mother. The Prophet, peace be upon him, said, the best of you are those that are good to their women. In Islam, the rights of the women are more so than what was there at the time and what is even there today as well. Because at that time when Islam gave the rights, later, about 1,000 years later, that's when women were allowed to vote. In fact, 300 years, in fact longer, in Europe, they were debating if women even had souls, if they were even human beings. But Muslims were saying paradise lies under the feet of your mother. The best of the people are the ones that are good to their women folk. This is unheard of 1400 years ago.
Labib from Bangladesh.
Okay, so that's a little sneak peek about what we may get into in a little bit. But isn't it interesting that every time I listen to this, every time I hear this, it just reminds me that Muslims like that have to continue to lie. And it's funny because I just saw this comment, right? Someone asks or says, what a stupid question, right? Talking about women's treatment in Islam versus treatment in Christianity, etc. And it's interesting because I'm going to say this as well, guys. Just remember, and you know what I was even going to say, right? I was about to say, which I guess is right on cue. I was going to say, guys, let's do a count and see how many times the Muslims tried to report the stream. And right on cue, we've got our first one. Okay. So they're trying to restrict the visibility of the live already. Okay, which is very interesting. But guys, obviously, as you come, this is why I say hit the like button, right? Because it goes a long way. Let me do this. All right. Let's see. This is interesting. The comments apparently, highs are grace, hope you're doing well. The comments aren't working, they keep disappearing, which is, it's very interesting. I don't know what's going on right now with, I guess you're talking about, okay, yeah, YT, because I tried to start live streaming the first time and it wasn't actually working. Like something actually happened. So I don't know if something's going on right now just across the board or if it's just my stream, but I know things aren't working exactly the right way. But anyway, let's just push on anyway and see what becomes of the live stream. Okay, so guys, obviously make sure you are liking it, sending hearts, all that good stuff. It goes a long way, right? Obviously there's a lot of technical difficulty which is trying to circumvent and stop what we're talking about today and what we're going to get into. Obviously we already know that the Muslims, for some reason, I was thinking about this again, I say this all the time, right? We did a live stream earlier on in the week, and our schedule right now for live streams are Monday and Wednesday, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 p.m. UK. And what's interesting is, what I was thinking is, well, look, we had a live stream on Monday. We were showing you how to engage with Orthodox Jews, right? Orthodox Jews like Rabbi Tevai Singer. And we were looking at how there's no good reason, they have no good reason, if they're consistent, why they should reject Jesus as the Messiah. No problem, right? I had a conversation on that live stream. I've done Hebrew Israelite live streams before, no problem. Why is it when we have our Islam live streams, that the live stream is always getting flagged, always getting reported, and all of that stuff. Why? Why? What is it about the topic? What is it about the Muslims which they continue to do this stuff in order to block what's actually going on, right? And obviously we spoke about this last time. Most of the Muslims are avoiding this topic now. After coming to speak about it so often, now they're at a point where they don't want to engage with it anymore, because, like, just being real, it's difficult for them to deal with. It's difficult for them to engage with. So a lot of the stuff, like I mentioned previously, right? Someone will say stuff like, oh, this is a stupid question. Why would you ask this question? Why would you talk about this kind of stuff? But when it actually comes to having the conversations, right, they are running away more and more and more, right? Because they don't want this to go out. They don't want people to hear this stuff, to know this stuff, because the more people that know this stuff, the more problematic it is. So this is why I say a lot of the time, right, the women obviously don't know most of this stuff, because a lot of the Muslim men, a lot of the people are hiding it from them. So this is why when we have live streams, a lot of the time, there's a lot of comments like, oh, you're lying, or you're making stuff up, or why are you saying this, or this kind of stuff. We go to the sources, we start reading the Quran, we start reading the hadith, and all of a sudden, oh, well, they disappear, or they start coming up with these fanciful interpretations, things which don't make sense, instead of actually just acknowledging and saying, okay, cool, like, yeah, like, this is actually a problem. So even before, earlier on this live stream, a couple of hours ago, I saw one comment from someone. They was talking about one of the clips, right? Obviously, after the live stream's done, we post clips of daily for you to enjoy, right? If you missed the live stream, if you want to know and experience what the Apologetic arena is live is like first, right? You get to see. And someone was just put a funny comment, which was so interesting. I'll talk about it. All right, probably. Hello?
Yeah, man. How you doing?
I'm blessed. You? How you doing?
I'm all right. Thank you.
There's an echo, so.
Say again?
There's an echo. Okay, it seems like
I can hear you now.
It seems like it's gone. How you doing?
I'm here. I'm okay.
Okay, so what do you think?
Islam is bad for women. Christianity is better.
Okay.
Muslim join.
You agree? You disagree?
Right. Yeah, of course I disagree as a Muslim.
Okay, so what kind of Muslim are you?
The kind of
Are you? If you disagree, wait in line. I'll bring you up and we can have a conversation after I'm done with this Muslim. Okay, so are you a Sunni?
I'm a Muslim.
Are you a Sunni Muslim? Are you a Shia Muslim? What kind?
I am a Muslim. I am a full-time Muslim. I'm not a Shia Muslim.
Okay, so you're a Sunni.
I'm a Sunni Muslim.
Okay, so you accept the Quran and the Hadith.
Correct.
Okay, so I want to read something to you, and you can tell me what you think about it. All right?
Okay.
Have you got your Quran?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. I want to read the Hadith first, since you said you accept Hadith.
Okay, you want to read Hadith first? Okay,
Yeah.
let's go
So
there.
this is.
Which Hadith is that?
This is, what is this? Sunan Ibn Majah 1943. Sunan Ibn Majah 1943. Guys, smash the like button. Send in hearts. All right. So it says.
Number again, please. Sunan Ibn Majah
1943.
1943. Okay, let's go there. All right.
It says, Salah bin Suhail came to the Prophet and said, O Messenger of Allah, I see signs of displeasure on the face of Abu Hudayfa when Salim enters upon me. The Prophet said, breastfeed him. She said, how can I breastfeed him when he is a grown man? The Messenger of Allah smiled and said, I know that he is a grown man. So she did that. Then she came to the Prophet and said, I have never seen any signs of displeasure on the face of Abu Hudayfa after that, and he was present at the Battle of Badr. So, have you heard of this hadith before?
A report about Asma that a slave was people with Jama. I'm trying to pull up the hadith, but I don't think.
Have you heard of the hadith before?
Sunan Ibn Majah.
Hello?
Yeah.
Have you heard of the hadith before?
No.
Okay, so basically, just to kind of give you a rundown, there's this boy who has grown up in their house. He's now a man. He's now reached puberty. And the husband is concerned that he's staying with them. He's thinking, well, he's going to try something. He could try something with his wife. So Muhammad comes up with the genius idea for the wife to breastfeed him, because in Islam at that time, if a woman breastfed a man, he couldn't do anything with her. He couldn't marry her. So what do you think about that?
I need to pull up the hadith. Truly, I'm session sunnah.com. I don't know where. Can you pull up the hadith on the screen, please?
Do you think I'm not telling the truth about the hadith?
I doubt if the hadith is authentic. I need to verify.
You doubt if the hadith is authentic. So if it's if it's authentic, then what?
Let's see. They will see the content.
If it's authentic, open it up.
Yep.
Open it up. I'm showing it on YT. I'm not showing it on TikTok right now.
Okay. You said it's Ibn Majah, 1943, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why is it not coming up on sunnah.com?
I don't know. I'm on sunnah.com showing it now on YT. So
oh God. Okay, let me use another mean. The content of this is the Prophet ordered who to breastfeed?
This woman to breastfeed the man. You think breastfeeding a man is good? Is it funny?
How do you breastfeed an adult?
That's exactly what she says. So I would say you're asking a good question. She literally says, how can I breastfeed him when he's a grown man?
I'm trying to pull up there.
How long have you been a Muslim?
Ever since birth.
So you grew up in Islam. How old are you?
I'm 35.
Oh, really? Okay. We're the same age. I just celebrated my 35th last week. Last week?
Yeah.
A week and a
For
half
real?
ago. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. I'm almost there. I think I'm seeing something like that now.
This is interesting. Comments are not coming through for some reason on YT. But I guess for now, as long as you can hear him, that's the thing that matters most, I guess. All right, you got it up?
Yeah.
Are you reading it?
Yeah, what I got here is Kitab Rida, the book of suckling.
The chapter says, what does it say at the top? Breastfeeding an adult, right?
The book of suckling.
Okay.
It's not the same. The message of Allah, I seen
1943.
I see on the face of Abu Hudayfa, sign of disgust on entering the Salim, who is an ally. Is that the hadith?
It seems like it sounds like you're reading a variation of the hadith, but it's basically saying the same thing.
Whereupon Allah's apostle said, suckle him. She said, how can I suckle him? As he's a grown-up man.
So she asked the same question
Allah's
you did, right?
Yeah, Allah's messenger smiled and said, I already know
that he's a grown man.
Sorry. Smile, I already know that he's a grown man. He's a young man. Amr has made these additions.
They just reported the stream, guys. Just so you know.
Okay.
So what do you think about that?
Yeah. Now I'm considering the chain of narrations now. And
okay.
That's what we'll do.
Does it say it's weak, or does it say it's sound? Sahih.
Yeah, I'm checking.
What does it say?
I'm checking, please. Just 1 second. Second, please. I'm almost there. It's coming up now.
Where are you going to check? If you were on the page, you would have seen. You just had to scroll to the bottom of the page. It would have shown you that it would have shown you the grading. What's taking so long?
What would call is not in this narration. So that's where I'm checking it from. I'm learning. I've not seen this before, so I need to know what I'm doing.
Okay. Guys, if you haven't already, if you forgot for whatever reason, hit the like button. Yeah. We're getting reports the comments aren't coming through, but hopefully everything else is working fine. All right.
Okay.
Amazing. I still can't pin this link.
It's authentic. The hadith is authentic.
It's what?
It's correct, authentic.
The hadith is authentic?
Yeah.
Okay. So I didn't make up a hadith, you're saying, basically?
Yes, it didn't make up the hadith.
That's good to know. So now you know it's authentic. What do you think about it?
Yes.
You asked the same question as the woman. How can she breastfeed a man? So
an adult, for example.
So what do you think about it now? Why did Muhammad tell her to do that? Is that good? Or is it bad?
Yes, in Islam, from what I used to know before, there are relatives. There are people who becomes your relative by breast suckling. We call them foster child. Foster child. Like if, for example, it happens maybe someone lost his mother and is raised with your mother, for example, and this child suckled your mother's breast, that automatically makes that person your brother, right?
Yeah, I said that to you earlier on.
Yeah, marriage can never happen between both of you, and it's like your brother already.
Yeah.
So in the case of Salim, it's a unique situation involving Salim. It's not unique Salim. So this is an authority given to one of the authority given to Prophet Muhammad as a messenger of God. I think it's one of the miracle of his.
It's a miracle.
So according to explanation of this, I'm not going into detail. So I'm not going to comment on anything about this until I make my findings. But in my layman experience, I wasn't thinking it's right. I must be sincere with you.
Okay, thank you. So at least you can be honest enough to say.
Yeah, so I need to make my findings.
You didn't think this was acceptable, but now you've seen that it's authentic. You've put it down to a miracle from Prophet Muhammad.
Yes, for that what I just read now. I read some article comments under it, but then I need to make my findings about it as well.
Okay, so what makes you think this was a one-off?
Yes, because there was a situation, a scenario. I don't know if you've read before, that there is a man called Zayd bin Sabit. He was a slave of Khadija, the first wife of the Prophet Muhammad.
Okay.
He was actually a slave. So upon the marriage of Prophet Muhammad to Khadija, that is the first wife, she handed over the slave to Prophet and made Zayd a slave of the Prophet Muhammad. And then Prophet Muhammad converted him to his own, a free person. There's no longer a slave.
Okay, but what does this have to do with you saying this is a one-off? What makes you think this is a one-off?
I'm giving you a scenario because Prophet made that person a free slave and said, henceforth, you are of me and I'm of you. You cannot bear my name. So that's give Zayd bin Sabit the access to the bedroom of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu, but not going to have affair with anybody, but giving him the license to go to places. So I'm saying it, even if it's something like that, this is an exceptional situation whereby you give some persons, even if they are not part of your family, some kind of opportunity to enter where they don't belong. I think this, if there's anything like this, then it should be that Prophet maybe receive a revelation and they want to make this person part of the family, and by breast suckling, that means there can never be anything between them.
Okay. Again, what makes you think, you didn't answer my question, what makes you think this is a one-off?
One of what?
You said this is a one-off, this is a special case. Who told you this is a special case?
Yeah, I just read it now.
So what makes you think this is a one-off? Did it say in the hadith that this is a one-off occasion?
This particular hadith was narrated by Aisha, the wife of the Prophet.
Yeah.
Through multiple chain, like it's not just one chain, and it's classified as authentic hadith.
I know. So
the narrator of the hadith.
What makes you think? What makes you think other women weren't doing this?
The narrator of the hadith is not just anybody, but the wife of the Prophet. Aisha is known for her jealousy for her husband.
She's known for her jealousy.
Yes.
So what does that have to do with this? With what's going on in this hadith?
So what is going on for Aisha to narrate this thing? There must be something behind it. That's what I've not got.
Oh, so
real explanation.
So you think?
So I just
you don't trust her? Is that what you're trying to say?
Trust who?
Aisha. Is that what you're trying to say? You don't trust her?
No, like she's kind of, when you have two wives, of course there'll be jealousy among them, up to a point of telling the Prophet telling somebody to go, and of course she'll feel very bad and say, why would you say a thing like that? Yeah, the messenger of God. Why would you tell somebody to commit? So if it's something that is not there's no spirituality behind it, then she will kick against it. But she saw it and she narrated the hadith, so something must be behind it. That's I've not been able to. I won't be able to say anything now. Like I told, I've not read this hadith before. From the beginning, I said that. So, but then again, I'll need to read the hadith and digest. If God permits, and we'll meet again then.
Okay, well,
we'll have a conversation.
Definitely follow me. But so it's good. You said your own honest opinion was that it's not good. You then turn around and said,
that's in my only man experience. I would say
Islam turned on. You switched your brain off, and you then said it's a miracle from Muhammad. Okay, let me talk to you.
I still read that.
Let me talk to you about something else.
Okay.
Okay.
Go
ahead.
Can I ask a question now?
Yeah, go ahead. What do you want to ask?
Can you read Exodus chapter 30, verse 13?
Exodus what?
13.
Why? What does it say?
If you want to read.
What does it say?
You want I read for you?
No, why do you want me to go to the passage for?
There's a question, the topic of discussion is Islam is bad for women. Okay. Christianity is better. Okay. But this particular verse shows that Christianity is not better in any way.
Are you sure?
You want to go there?
Okay, read it. Go ahead.
It said, this they shall give.
What's the verse?
Everyone.
Sorry.
Exodus chapter 30, verse 13.
Okay.
Are you there?
Yeah, go ahead. Read it.
It said, these. Yeah?
Go ahead, read.
Okay. He said, these they shall give everyone that passeth among them that are numbered, half a shekel after the shekels of the century. Shekel is 20 gerah, and half shekel shall be offering of the Lord.
Okay.
How do you explain this verse, please? Let me ask.
What do I need to explain about the verse? You realizing you got the wrong verse?
Yeah, I got the wrong verse actually. I won't lie about that.
You want to go to Leviticus? Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah, Leviticus 27 verse 2. Sorry. I think I was reading the wrong verse.
My goodness.
Speak unto the children of Israel and say unto them, when a man shall make a singular vow, the person shall be for the Lord by the estimate, and the estimate shall be male for 20 years and even 60 years old. Estimated. Why is this verse running?
What verse did you say?
I think this is, sorry, 1 second, please.
Look, the verse you're looking for is verse 5. Read from verse 5 to 6, man. Why am I doing your job for you, man? Come on.
I was just listening.
You were just listening to what? Clearly you were doing something else other than listen.
This is not the verse I'm actually looking for. The verse that talks about if a man grapes a teenager and he or she is caught, he should give 50 shekel to the parents. That's what I'm looking for.
Okay, that's what you're looking for. Okay, what about that passage? What about that?
Then again, why would God say if a man rape a teenager, and then they should give 50 shekel to the parent as a dowry?
Who told you that it's talking about grape?
Let me bring up the bar so that you won't say what I. It's not coming up.
You want to bring up what?
The verse that says so.
Yeah, I know the verse you're talking about. I'm asking you, who told you that's talking about grape?
Then you want to explain the verse?
Other than the NIV, which is making an interpretation of the translation. Most of the other modern, pretty much all of them, don't use that because they obviously don't make the assumption that's what it's talking about. That's why I'm asking you, why do you think that's what it's talking about?
Because that's exactly what I read.
So you read the NIV translation? Is that what you're telling me? Because
the NIV translation would be read? Because
it's highly unlikely you read a different translation and came to that conclusion. Because
I'm King James version, right?
I was going to say the King James version doesn't say that. Most of the English translations don't say that. So now again, what makes you think that's what it's talking about?
Because that's what I read.
Okay.
I should believe in what I've not read.
So if you don't read the NIV, you're not going to come to that conclusion.
So that doesn't mean NIV is not to be trusted?
In that verse, it would make more sense to go with the majority of other English translations who don't go in that pathway because they take into consideration the wider context of the passage, which speaks about grape earlier on in the passage.
So what you're saying is anything from NIV should not be trusted, right?
I didn't say that. I said on this particular verse, when you have to think about it like this. When you start dealing with English translations, some of the different translations at different verses translate the verses better than others. Okay, so in this particular scenario, I would say the NIV didn't do the best translation. The other English translations translate it better. So,
okay. So then can you educate me on what the real translation is?
So I'll give you one of the reasons why. It's Deuteronomy chapter 22 verse 29 is what you're talking about, right?
Okay.
Or 28 and 29. One of the reasons that we don't look at this as grape is because when you look at the parallel passage in Exodus, it's not talking about graping a woman. It's talking about like persuading her, seducing her, etc., and laying with her. So in that scenario, which is obviously different to graping someone, you then at that point have to pay the father 50 shekels of silver, and you have to marry her, and you can't divorce her for the rest of your life unless the father says no, you can't do that.
So even what you have said now doesn't make any sense?
Yes, it makes a lot of sense. Okay, why do you think it doesn't make sense?
When a man seduces someone,
yep,
and that seduction might lead to maybe laying with her.
Yeah, intercourse. Yep. Mm-hmm.
And he should just give 50 shekel to the parents, and that means she owns her. Then there can never be divorce again.
No, he can't divorce her because. Okay, let's go back a little bit. Okay, so
you just said that he can't divorce her, right?
Yeah, he can't divorce her. He can't. He has. He can't. He cannot divorce her. He has to stay married to her for his whole life.
It doesn't look like slavery?
Why would that look like slavery? Have you ever heard of the saying, if you can't do the time, don't do the crime?
Okay. What if it's not with the will of the lady?
So
What if the lady is not
I just said
aligning with that belief?
if she had intercourse with him, then it obviously seems like she likes him, right? You're not gonna have intercourse with a man if you don't like him, are you?
Seduction is different from liking somebody.
If you like think about it like this, right? I'm a man, you're a man. Most men when they were younger, we did silly stuff, right? With females, right? One way or another. So if you're a man and you're running your game on a lady and whatever and all that kind of stuff, and you find yourself in a scenario, obviously today's time is different to then, right? It's serious now, but it was obviously serious then. So if he's running game or he's trying to convince her to have intercourse with him, she's obviously obliging him in intercourse though. So it's consensual is the point. So because it's consensual, why would she have a problem marrying him? Obviously she wants to be intimate with him in that way. They both want to be intimate. And at the same time, like I mentioned to you before, in the parallel passage, the dad has the right to say no and say, no, it's not going to go down. But you said it's slavery. So what would be bad about that for the guy if he's had intercourse with her and now he has to stay with her? What's wrong with that?
So I've just heard it for the first time that graping does not mean you're saying it's seducing.
Pardon?
You're saying grapes is seducing.
No, I didn't say that. I said it's not talking about grape. I said that multiple times.
But the verse talk about grapes.
So we need to go back to the beginning and for me to explain why it's not. One of the reasons why it's not.
But no, what I'm saying is that does the verse mention grape?
Not there, no. It mentions it earlier up in a different scenario where it talks about a man. Let me show you. I believe it's verse 25. In 2 seconds. Okay, yeah, 25. So you see, in 25, it says, but if a man find a betrothed damsel in the field and the man force her and lie with her, then the man only that lies with her shall be unalived, shall be put to death.
Okay.
So obviously purity was very significant in biblical times. It should still be very significant now. But the point is, if he had intercourse with her and then he now went away and did something else, in that culture, most men, like she would not be able to probably get married again. She'd have to stay in her father's house until she's old. So this is one of the reasons why the man has to marry her if the dad obviously consents and not divorce her.
Doesn't mean, now I'm learning, does it mean divorce is not acceptable in Christianity? Doesn't mean in Christianity divorce is not allowed?
No, divorce, the Bible says firstly that God hates divorce, but there are different scenarios where you can get divorced.
Okay, that means divorce is allowed in Christianity.
Yeah. Why do you ask?
No, what I used to do, I've not read any scripture concerning that, but people usually say, if it's for better, for worse, for richer, for poor, and stuff like that.
Yeah, because obviously marriage is sacred, going back to the beginning of the Bible in Genesis chapter 1, where God made Adam and Eve and put them together. So marriage is something, like you're saying, which is serious and should be taken seriously and should be looked in that way. It shouldn't be we're going to do this for 5 weeks or 5 months or 5 years or anything along those lines. Don't you agree?
Yeah, but no, I don't think that is right, because there are situations whereby you don't feel comfortable in marriage again, not necessarily when you commit adultery and stuff like that. If maybe your husband,
well, not adultery. If you committed adultery, you'd be unalived. You can't commit adultery and go about your business. This would be what the passage you're talking about, we're talking about now, that would be classified as like fornication. Just two people who aren't married who have intercourse with each other. It's different. So, but
according to Paul, this time there are no law. Those laws are law of Moses, and all things have passed away. That were in time of grace.
Just okay.
Does not to apply in this era?
We were all under grace. We're always under grace, but in the New Testament, we're under the law of Christ. So, What was the thing you said at the end? What did you say?
Like according to Paul, what he said, that this is the time, this era and time of grace, that no one again is liable for any crime, that all things have passed away, all things have passed away.
No, that's not what he says.
Like that the law of adultery, that should have passed away as well,
No,
because it's an old law.
you still can't commit adultery today. The only the difference is that obviously from under the new covenant, Christians aren't going to be putting people to, they're not going to unalive people for adultery.
Okay.
Okay, so since we're on the topic of marriage, I want to talk to you about something else.
Okay.
You sparked a thought in my mind in the hadith, which we've spoken about before. I've spoken about this to other Muslims, but I want us to go to what should we go to? We just read. Let's go to Ibn Majah, since we're in Ibn Majah already. Ibn Majah, 1962.
Okay.
And since we were just looking and talking about marriage in that particular scenario in Deuteronomy 22, which is a long-term marriage, I want us to now talk about short-term marriage, which Muhammad was for. So answer me this, right? If you today, you met a woman and you said, I'm going to give you some money and we're going to spend the weekend together, or the week, and then after the week, you take your money, I'm going to go. What do we call that today?
It's prostitution.
Okay. Is prostitution good or bad?
Bad, of course.
Okay. So, are you at the hadith?
Yes, this is mostly related to Shia's people. That's why I told you.
It's not related to Shia. This is the Sunni hadith.
Because this contradicts
No,
the Quran.
No, it doesn't. How does it contradict the Quran?
Because the Quran says otherwise. Marriage is not a contract.
Okay, let's
you give somebody money, have sex with her.
Let's read. Let's read.
Okay, go ahead.
It was narrated from Rabbin Sabra that his father said, "We went out with the messenger of Allah on the farewell pilgrimage, and they said, O messenger of Allah, celibacy has become too difficult for us. So Muhammad said, make temporary marriages with these women." So because these men were out at war and they couldn't wait until they got home, they said to their wives, Muhammad's solution was for them to have temporary marriages. So at this point in time, when he's saying temporary marriages, do you think this is good that Muhammad said that, or it's bad that he said that?
I'm trying to pull up the hadith.
As you're pulling it up, what do you think? And right on time, we have a Mohammedan saying, of course it's good. Okay. So we went to them, but they insisted on setting a fixed time between us and them. They mentioned that to the Prophet, and he said, okay, set a fixed time between you and them. So he went out with his cousin. They were bartering, trying to go back and forth about which one's going to get the woman. The woman went with the guy who was younger. And it says, so he married her and stayed the night. Now, you called it prostitution. Would call it prostitution. I think most people with common sense would call it prostitution. Muhammad calls it temporary marriage. What do you think? Especially considering we just read in the Bible that a man who sleeps with a woman who's not his wife, under that law, he had to marry her and he couldn't divorce her. So he had to make an honest woman out of her. Muhammad is saying, at this point in time, make temporary marriage with them to fulfill their lusts. What do you think? Good or bad?
For this, this according to explanation of the hadith, because every hadith is explained by the Prophet himself to his companion. So would you want I read the explanation?
Does it, I just read the explanation. It tells you why they did what they did. You didn't hear what I said when I read it? It says celibacy has become too difficult for them. That was the reason. They couldn't keep it in their trousers. Tundra here says their companions were about to castrate themselves had he not allowed that. Okay, so according to this Muslim, he thinks it's acceptable to take part in what the Muslims that I'm talking to has already considered it and said it's prostitution because they felt like they were going to castrate themselves.
You know, in Islam, marriage has procedures, and it has to do with you paying the dowry of a lady. The family member must give their consent, and the lady must agree to marry you before you marry her. At the war front, who were those custodians of this marriage?
The companions.
It's not possible. They're not family members of those women.
No, because these are women that
did you hear what I said?
I heard you. These are women that they found in marriage out at wartime. So this is why. Do you want me to show you another hadith which shows that?
And any women who are caught in the war front, automatically they are like war booty. They're like slaves, captivities of wars.
And they're able. And the Muslim men are able. The Muslim men are able to have intercourse with them, even though their husbands are still alive.
Yes, that's the situation between. If you want to relate it to Abraham, it happens. The Sarah Agar was a slave in the house of Abraham, but Abraham had to live with her and bear Ishmael.
But look, you're diverting, bro.
I'm not diverting. That's the same thing.
You are. It's not the same. Abraham didn't agree with Hagar for 3 days a week and say, "This is what is the situation is going to be." That's not what he did. That's completely different to what we're reading in the hadith. Why are you trying to dress up the hadith instead of just be honest like you were with me before?
No, I'm still the honest person. I cannot say what I don't have the idea or knowledge of.
Okay, so you said before we read the hadith that if a man goes to meet a woman and they agree on a price and they agree, okay, cool, this is what we're going to do for 3 days or for 7 days, even if you want to say 2 weeks, even if it's a month, and then after you take the money I've given you, I'm going to go my own way because my lusts have been fulfilled. What did you say that was?
How would you return money you paid for?
What did you say it was? What did you say? I didn't say it's refundable. It's non-refundable. What did you say it was though?
I said it was. If there's anything like that, it should be a prostitution.
Okay, so now when we're reading it in the hadith, why are you now trying to dress it up and explain it away?
Why are you not listening to what I'm saying also?
I'm listening to you.
What you have in your mind. So
I'm listening to you.
If you listen to me, what I said earlier, according to Islamic jurisdictions, for a marriage to be said to be contracted, a dowry must be paid. Family of the bride must be there, and there must be witness to that marriage. And there's nothing like contract marriage in Islam. So this is in contradictions with an existing ruling.
So you're gonna throw.
And if there's contradicted,
so you're gonna throw your authentic hadith. You're gonna throw your authentic hadith under the bus because you don't like what it's saying. The hadith is literally saying Muhammad is giving them this instruction.
But because Quran says otherwise, Quran is superior to hadith.
Okay, where does the Quran say otherwise?
Okay. I just read the place. If you want to open, I can tell
you. Where does the Quran say that
there's no marriage?
That this practice was forbidden. Where does it say that?
The Quran says there's no marriage except with the wali. Wali is the family of the bride, and the sha'ir and the witness and dowry. These are the 3 conditions.
Yes, under normal circumstances.
So, and I'm asking, where was those conditions met in the battlefield, and how were they met?
Under normal circumstances, if they as you saw in the hadith, if they're saying that they couldn't keep it inside, celibacy is too much for them. Do you think at that point in time they care about the customs and whatever the traditions and what the law is. That's why they're going to. That's why they're going to Muhammad, and this is Muhammad's solution for them.
If they're believer of the Quran, if the Quran says otherwise, they are not supposed to go against it.
Who gave the Quran out to the people?
Allah.
Yeah, through who? Who did he give it to give out?
Through Angel Gabriel.
To who?
To Muhammad.
Okay, so the same Muhammad in the Hadith who's saying to them, you can go and make temporary marriages to fulfill your lust, right?
That's what I'm saying. If hadith is contradicting the Quran, I throw away the hadith.
You throw away the authentic Sahih hadith for the Quran.
You did not hear what I said. Quran is superior to hadith.
Okay. So if you can throw away a Sahih hadith which doesn't contradict the Quran, why
doesn't?
Why does it contradict the Quran?
Which doesn't, you said?
Yes, no, which doesn't contradict the Quran.
No, that was not what I said. If you want to replace my word, say it correctly, so that if you want to repost it, it will mean what I said exactly.
Okay, I'm still waiting for you to give me the Quran verse, which says that what's happening in the Hadith isn't acceptable.
Okay, but you want me to give you exactly wording to wording of what you said?
Well, you're making
the one I said.
You're making the claim. Tundra says the Hadith is authentic and there's nothing wrong with it.
So
where in the Quran does it say this benefit that Muhammad gave these men in these war scenarios is forbidden?
Go to Surah An-Nisa. Have you opened your Quran?
What? Where is it? Chapter 4, what?
Surah An-Nisa.
What's the verse?
I'm playing it off.
Guys, make sure you're liking it. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Send in hearts. What verse?
Coming. So they're talking about. I'm reading. I want to be setting. Reading verse 4 now. Oh, sorry.
This is the gymnastics, guys, that Muslims have to do with their sources that are authentic. When they find something they don't know, they don't like, or both. Are we gonna find this verse today, or?
I wasn't actually prepared for this, but then let's see, let me get it there. That's how they do this thing, just not.
All right, so guys, let me know if the chat is showing up properly now on YT. I know it wasn't before. Let me know, guys.
You understand Arabic?
No, not like that. Do you?
I'm trying to. I can't remember the verse, but the verse says, if there's anybody that understands the Arabic, they say, "Funky ube is na." That is the verse I'm trying to pull up. I don't know where exactly it is. I'm trying to say, and funky ube.
The funny thing is, Tundra, I was gonna show this to him, but the way he keeps evading these hadith, I was just thinking to myself, there's no point. It's basically just another hadith like I've shown him, which says Muhammad gave them permission to have temporary marriages to benefit themselves. Yeah, it doesn't matter if he forbade it. That's not the point. The point is he allowed it for even if he did it for one day. It doesn't. That's the point. That's the problem. Are we really asking what the problem is with a man linking up with a woman, paying her some money for some boom boom for a couple of days and then going on his way because they can't keep their secret in their trousers? This is Islam, guys. This is what it does to you. Again, any Muslim, if you want to have a conversation, like I'm having, what's your name, brother? Hello.
Yeah, I don't know if we've got Muslims on the chat. I'm trying to see. I can't pull up the. I know the Quran verse are this, but the verse I can't remember. Somebody can pull up.
Okay, so you haven't got a verse for us. So obviously, as we've read already, Muhammad is prohibiting it. He's allowing it. You called it prostitution. For some reason, you don't want to say it again now it's prostitution because now your prophet has done it and you don't want to say he's doing something bad. And you said you're being honest. You're still being honest. And I'm saying you're not being honest at this point. So you want to, let's talk about something else then.
I don't think we've got Muslims in this comment section.
Okay.
There are no Muslims here.
Okay, let's talk about something else. You've struck out twice now. This will be your third go. All right. Don't strike out again, man. Okay, so Sahih al-Bukhari 5193. Bukhari 5193. The Prophet said, if a man invites his wife to sleep with him and she refuses to come to him, then the angels send their curses on her until the morning. Why is she being cursed all night long? Is that good or bad?
That's good.
Okay. Why is it good?
Because there's no need, there can't be any good reason why a woman should deny her husband the right to sex when she has paid her dowry.
Okay. If she's tired,
that amount to punishing him and frustrating him into committing fornication or adultery.
If she's really tired.
Tired of what?
And she's like, look, I'm really tired.
Right.
Come
okay,
tomorrow.
Did the hadith mention tired?
Tomorrow morning. The hadith didn't mention anything. It's open ended. Yeah. If he invites her and she says no, she's going to be cursed. She's going to be cursed all night.
If there's a genuine reason why she said no, of course the husband will understand.
The hadith doesn't say any particular reason. So
that's why you need to read in between the lines to understand.
So if it doesn't say any specific reason, why should we now?
I'm a married man. I don't know if you're a married man as well.
I'm a married man.
There are days you want to disagree that there are days your wife never deny you of sex for no reason.
You know what the Bible says about that.
I'm asking. No, you've not answered the question.
You know what the Bible says about that. Listen. I want to read this to you because it's very different to what we just read in the hadith.
No, has there been a time? This is personal. Has there been a time?
Listen.
Your wife has ever denied you of sex?
Listen. He ran, guys. He didn't want to get the light. He ran. Coward. He started off honest, and as we went on, the lies started to show. And he started to show what his true colors. This is what Islam does to you. You can say something is bad, and then the moment you read it in your sources, all of a sudden, he literally said, breastfeeding a man, why would someone do that? And then once he read it in the hadith, he said it was a miracle from Muhammad. And you think that this is anything other than spiritual warfare, guys. I said this before, Islam makes you turn your brain off. It literally makes you turn your brain off. You can't think. You cannot reason. All of that, throw it out of the window. It's gone. We don't want you to think. You take your thoughts and your thinking and you throw it out of the window. You know what's actually crazy, guys? I was reading something earlier on, right? Maybe like a little while ago before the stream. And it was talking about one of the things I read was about this woman, this Christian woman in Pakistan, right? She put a cross on like the outside of her house. And then these Muslims came, and I'm reading something and it's going to say, oh yeah, the Muslims said, oh, the Muslims did something to her, whatever. I was thinking it was going to say the Muslims like took the cross down and like threw it down or whatever, damaged it. The Muslim said to this woman, take the cross down, take the cross down. She's like, no, I don't want to take it down. You know what they did? They went to get the Quran, ripped up the Quran, pages of the Quran, which was mind-boggling to me because Muslims are for like so often saying like, no, we revere the Quran, we wouldn't ever do something like that. They ripped up the Quran, put the pages in front of her house. When she now came out of the house and was picking the papers up to see what it was, they now took her to the police station and said that she blasphemed. She ripped up the Quran, she damaged the Quran or something along those lines. And she was in jail for, I think, like a couple years or something. I think it said like a couple years. Because it said something like she couldn't see her 3-year-old child and now he's 5. So I guess it didn't say it directly, but I guess the assumption or the implication was she was in prison for 2 years or in jail for 2 years until they finally gave her bail. Like, the reason I'm saying that is because this is what this religion does to your mind, man. Like on so many different levels. So we're at what? 2, 3 reports of the stream. And again, every conversation I have, you see for yourself. This is why they don't want to have conversations. This is why they will say, don't join and have conversations with Israel. Don't have these conversations on this topic. Because it doesn't matter who it is. Even the Muslim, like we just spoke to, who was trying to be honest. Even when you speak to them and you start asking them questions, they suspend all logic. They just throw it out the window and just say, well, Muhammad said it's fine, so it has to be fine. It's in the Quran, it has to be fine, etc. He's saying, okay, let's go to this passage, let's go to that passage. You can't find the passage. He's trying to explain away the whole situation because he's embarrassed, which is crazy. But they want us to think that we're crazy, like we don't know what we're talking about. Guys, if you haven't already, hit the like button. M says, oh, please, dude. Oh, please, dude, what? Isn't it interesting that so many of them will say stuff, but they're not ready or interested in backing what they're saying up? Like, and again, it goes back to the point I was saying. They think that we as Christians are lying about this stuff when we're only reading their sources, the sources they say they accept, right? You say to them, what kind of Muslim are you? What do you accept? Do you accept hadith and you accept Quran? And then all of a sudden, you take them to what they say they accept. Oh, you know what? No, I'm not going to accept that one. I'm going to check if it's authentic. They check if it's authentic, and then all of a sudden, okay, yeah, it's time to throw it under the bus. Okay, any Muslim who wants to call in, feel free to call in. You can call in and we can have a conversation and we can talk about why. Unlike the video we watched at the beginning, where the guy was saying Islam honors women more than Christianity. Okay. Now M says, give it a rest. We're so obsessed. Okay. The guy who made the video that we watched at the beginning of this live stream, is he obsessed with Christianity when he's saying Islam honors women more than Christianity? Or are they not going to be consistent? What do you think they're going to do, guys? Are they going to be consistent or are they not going to be consistent? Right? Okay, you're a woman. Okay. You can call in. I've spoken to many Muslims over the weeks, so any Muslim is welcome to call in. Okay, and imagine, right? She ain't listening to me. You don't have to listen to me. You just have to listen to your sources. You listen to your Quran, you listen to your hadith. The hadith, your sources do my job for me. All I need to do is read it. That's it. So we read earlier on how Muhammad told a woman to breastfeed a grown man, and even she couldn't understand the logic behind it. How am I going to do this to a man? He's a man, right? We read about that earlier on. What else did we read? We read about Muhammad instituting what the Muslim even admitted was prostitution. Muhammad is saying to the men who can't keep it in their trousers, who can't honor their wives enough to say, you know what, I'm not going to have intercourse with someone else other than my wife. And what does he say? Because go and arrange with a woman to spend a couple of nights with her and then give her money and then be gone. It's acceptable. That's what Muhammad said. These are some of the reasons why we know Islam could never honor women more than Christianity. These are some of the reasons we know Islam is really bad for women. Imagine, right? We got another restriction, guys. So what is that? Is that 4 now? We're on 4 now, right? M says, honestly, live and let live. Was the Muslim in the video living and let living, or was he going around saying, oh, you know what, Islam is better for women than Christianity? Right? Interesting. You see, that's all they can do. When you can't deal with the situation, start reporting it. Instead of engaging and saying, oh, you're wrong because of XYZ, right? I'm apparently spreading hate. So notice, guys, the Muslim who made the video that we watched earlier on, he's not spreading hate, but somehow I, the Christian who's responding and having conversations based on that video, is spreading hate. Can you make that make sense? Women are apparently seen as diamonds in Islam. Okay. Women are apparently seen as diamonds in Islam. Okay. So much so they're diamonds that Muhammad ordered the Muslim men to beat their wives. That's how much of the diamonds they were to Muhammad and the Muslim men. Interesting. You see, these people, they don't know what they're talking about. Muhammad commanded his men to beat their wives, but apparently they're diamonds. You see the broken logic of these people. And now it begins to make sense why they don't want to have these conversations. We could go left, right, center, backwards. We could go so many different ways with this topic. We could have conversations on so many different things. And that's the problem. That's why a lot of the Muslims want to talk tough in the comment section, but don't want to have a conversation about it. If they're diamonds, why are they covered in black clothes? May Allah guide me to what? What do you expect? What do you want him to guide me to? Okay. I don't like. Isn't it interesting? Which I guess it shows the projection. Muslims accuse Christians and say we have hate in our hearts because we talk about these particular topics. Okay, maybe the Muslims have hate in their hearts. That's why they will do this sort of stuff. That's why they will lie. That's why they will deceive. They will do all of this different kind of stuff. But when Christians come and have honest conversations about these topics, all of a sudden we are haters. We're not relaxed. We have a problem and all of this stuff, etc. Which is crazy. And they think it's normal. Okay. Imagine the irony. Do Muslims do what you're doing right now? They don't. Muslims are peace. Okay. So again, in the video, when the guy is talking about, the title of his video is Islam honors women more than Christianity. Is he being peaceful? Lying is apparently haram. Okay. But you can lie in certain circumstances in Islam. One of the circumstances is a husband can lie to his wife. Like, these guys don't even know their own religion. It's a shame that I have to correct them on their own religion. Lying is haram, but they're allowed to lie. You're allowed to lie in Islam under certain circumstances. So it's not haram. It's not unclean. It's not sinful under every situation. Okay. Bye. Bye, MM. No one told you to stay. You don't need to stay. If you're afraid of what Islam says about women, go ahead and leave. But this is what we have to deal with. Accusation after accusation after accusation. Okay. All right, let's read something, right? From their sources. This is, what is this? We read this before. Okay, this is, brace yourself, guys. This is Abu Dawud 2172. And then we'll get into a video if we don't have any callers by then. All right, we'll go back to Muhammad telling a woman to breastfeed a man. Okay, Murray said, I entered the mosque and saw Abu Sa'id al-Khudri. I sat with him and asked him about withdrawing the you-know-what while having intercourse. Abu Sa'id said, we went out with the Apostle of Allah on the expedition to Banu al-Mustalik and took some Arab women captive, and we desired the women, for we were suffering from the absence of our wives, and we wanted ransom. So they had a conundrum, the Muslim men here that were with Muhammad. The conundrum was twofold. Number one, they were burning. They wanted to have intercourse, but their wives weren't around. But number two, the captive women that they have that they wanted to have intercourse with, they wanted to sell them off as well. So the problem was, well, look, if we get them pregnant, then it's going to mess up our money. This is the problem. So they want to have intercourse, but they also want to sell these women off as well. So let's see what happens next. So they said to themselves, okay, cool. So what we're going to do is we're going to withdraw our secret before we let go of any of they let go of any of their seed, right? But they said to themselves, it says, can we really take out the you-know-what when Muhammad is among us before asking him about it? So they asked him about it. He said, it doesn't matter if you do not do it. For every soul that is to be born up to the day of resurrection will be born. So Muhammad doesn't say here in this hadith that, okay, like, no, don't do it. Don't have intercourse with these slave women before you sell them off. And don't think if you try to pull out or whatever, it's going to make a difference. It doesn't matter. Everything's basically been already written. He just says it doesn't matter if you do it or you don't do it. So they have intercourse with these women, obviously, as they say. And then they want to go and sell them off after. But what's mind-boggling is when we read these sources, they say we're lying, we don't know what we're talking about, when it's in their own hadith. And what do they say? They say stuff like, and the authenticity. And this is their final straw. What's the grading of it? Is it authentic? Is it not authentic? When you tell them that it's authentic, just like we saw with the previous Muslim caller, what did he do? He started throwing it under the bus. Okay, yeah, you know what? I don't accept this one. That's what they always do. Exactly. They can't control their desires, so they have to cover their women. And even when their women are covered, they still can't control themselves. And the reason why is because when they find themselves in those situations, they're out at war. Muhammad didn't say to them, control yourself. Like, trust that God will help you to be disciplined until you get back home to see your wife. He actually finds solutions for them and says, okay, go and make a temporary marriage. Go and do this. Okay? This is their other escape route. You don't understand Arabic. The words mean different things. Okay. Do the people on these websites who translate the Arabic, as you can see here, do these people know what Arabic is? Do they know the difference? Do they know how to translate Arabic to English? You see, it doesn't matter if I know Arabic, because are you going to say the people on these websites who are sharing the Quran are sharing the hadith, they don't know Arabic? Make that make sense. So whether you want to accuse me and say I don't know Arabic, that has no bearing on the people that are translating it. All I'm doing is reading what the Arabs are translating for us into English. Is this not simple? But this is what happens when you're desperate. You have to say stuff like this. You don't know the Arabic, so all of a sudden that automatically changes what's actually being said. Okay. The people on these websites know what the Arabic is. That's why they're translating it for us. Okay? Very simple. So, whether I know Arabic or not, doesn't matter. Very simple. You can read the hadith if you want. Right? You could read the hadith if you want and translate it for yourself if you know Arabic so well. And you're going to come to the same conclusion that the people on these websites came to. Okay. Very simple. So, this is what we have to deal with, guys, on a regular basis. You would think that during the time of Ramadan, these people would actually be on their best behavior. They would be more spiritual and be thinking, okay, let me get closer to God in this season. But they still lie, they still deceive, they still throw insults at you, ad hominem attacks. Oh, you're this, oh, you're that. When I read their sources, I don't need to lie about what their sources say. Their sources are there for everyone to see. It's very simple. All right. Let's look at another one. This has been one that so many Muslims have struggled with, can't get around it. Like, there's like I said earlier on in the live stream, right? I was talking to my Muslim friend this morning, right? And he's Quran only. He's been fed up with the hadith. And I said to him, I was like, listen, the Quran is already a problem. The hadith just makes it even worse. It makes it even worse. There's so much stuff in the hadith which Muslims just cannot explain. They can't handle, they can't deal with it. That's one of the reasons why they get so triggered and they can't control themselves. So when I say, for example, that Islam is bad for women because you've got Muslim men in the hadith, a Muslim man beats his wife because she prays too much. And when I say stuff like that, they'll say I'm lying. Now, yes, this particular Muslim friend, he is Quran only. And one of the reasons is because he knows that there's so much stuff in the hadith he can't handle, he can't deal with. So this is one of the escape routes, rescue devices that a lot of Muslims do. They say, well, look, I'm not going to accept the hadith anymore. And as much as I say to him, like, listen, bro, it doesn't make sense. You can't, like, how are you going to be Quran only Muslim? You don't, like, the Quran doesn't make enough sense by itself. You need the hadith to expound it and explain so much of it. But yeah, you would think in the hadith where a man is beating his wife because she prays too much, Muhammad is going to condemn the man and say, don't ever do that again. But isn't it crazy that Muhammad actually sides with the man and says the man is right in the equation for why he beat her? Crazy. Muslims are shook, guys. And it was funny because when I was talking to him, like, I'll get round to prove Jesus is a Muslim stream. But like I was saying earlier on, like, when I was talking to this Muslim this morning and he was talking about Abraham as a Muslim and Jesus as a Muslim, I was just like, imagine the desperation of these guys, man. It's like same old stuff. And eventually we'll get around to all these different topics and just show that Muslims don't have good answers for any of these topics. Muslims are afraid that when we talk about Muhammad telling women, commanding these men to beat women, they will still tell you and deceive you to think that this was a good religion for women. Why would he say that? And imagine all the comments are going to say stuff like, shush, 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 that's it. Instead of, like, they can't say he didn't say that or it's not true. But these are the same people that will accuse you of lying and say, oh, blah, 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 etc. Okay. Reported again, guys. What are we up to? Like 5 now? 5 reports of the live stream? Okay. Imagine this, right? The comment says nobody wants to hear it. Nobody wants to hear this. So if nobody wants to hear this, explain this logic to me. If nobody wants to hear this, why has the live stream been reported 5 times? Explain that. I'm apparently lying. What am I lying about? Tell me what I'm lying about. This will be funny. You see, Christianity isn't like Islam. In Islam, you can lie for different reasons. In Christianity, lying is a sin. So I'm not going to come live and start lying about different stuff. Okay. So tell me what I'm lying about, Mr. Muslim or Mrs. Muslim, whatever. Like, I don't know if you're a man or woman. Tell me what I'm lying about. The stuff I'm saying, I've got receipts for. I can prove very quickly.
How are we doing, pal?
I'm blessed, bro. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. I'm good.
Are you a Muslim?
So, I am, alhamdulillah.
Okay, what kind of
Why
Muslim
aren't
are
you,
you?
The Muslim kind of Muslim.
Like, do you accept the hadith and the Quran or just the Quran?
The Quran and the hadith, bro.
Okay. So, I'm a Christian.
What are you?
I'm a Christian.
Do you accept the Old Testament and the New Testament?
Yes, a Christian accepts the Old and New Testament.
Brilliant. So what do you think about what Jesus says in the Old Testament according to your paradigm?
You don't want to talk about the Quran?
Yeah, we'll come to the Quran, but yeah, let's have a look at it. So
are you afraid of the Quran?
Compare apples with apples.
Are you afraid of the Quran?
No, of course not.
So why
are you afraid of the Bible?
Why are you running straight to the Bible?
Yeah, but are you afraid of the Bible? Can you
no,
not defend it?
I'm not afraid of the Bible. Why are you running straight to the Bible?
Brilliant. No, because right,
because
you're
what?
comparing apples with apples, right?
Yes, so you don't know what I'm comparing.
Yeah. So let's set the criteria for it.
You don't know what
So
the criteria is.
Yeah, you're saying that Islam is bad for
Yes,
women.
you don't know why I'm saying it's bad for women.
Yeah. So let me clarify something. So in the Bible,
You don't know why I said
rape
it's
a child.
bad. No, it doesn't.
Yeah, you can rape a child and pay the father 50 shekels.
No, it doesn't.
Do you agree with that?
You see how silly you are. Someone already came up.
Do you agree with that?
Someone already came up. Listen to me. Listen to me.
You can rape a child, pay the father 50 shekels. Do you agree with that?
Are you going to listen to me? Or are you just going to keep rambling?
Do you agree with that?
Are you going to listen to me or are you going to keep rambling?
I will do.
So listen to me. A Muslim already came up before you, bro, with the same dead argument. So
what did you respond to? I didn't hear it.
It's not talking about that.
What's it talking about?
It's talking about a man who convinces a woman to have intercourse with him.
Right. So let's bring you up. I'll bring you up on my screen in a second.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. Make sure you don't read the NIV translation, and we won't have any problems.
Why not?
Because when you look at, if you go and compare all of the English translations, you will see that the NIV is the only one that makes that translation.
Okay, what if we get the Hebrew interlinear? How about that?
What's the Hebrew interlinear is not going to help you.
Why not?
Because the Hebrew, like the NIV is making is translating with an interpretation in mind. The Hebrew doesn't say great.
Right. So what does it say in Hebrew?
I already told you.
Right. Let's have a look at it. Let me bring you up.
And just notice, guys, he ran. He didn't want to talk about the Quran. All right? Just notice.
Yeah. No. I'm saying you should be able to defend your Bible, right? You're not scared of that.
If I was scared, do you think I would be talking about the passage, which I've already spoken about already on the live stream?
Right. Okay. Brilliant.
But let's see when we start talking about Islam if you're going to be a coward or not.
Yeah, I'm not going to run, bro. I'm not going to run at all.
I'm sure you won't.
Right. So, let's go.
You're looking for Deuteronomy chapter 22.
Don't worry. I'll got you.
This is Islam, guys. You say they're cowards and then they show up and prove you right on time.
If a man right, let's have a look now.
So what's up? What's taking so long, man?
I can't find my secondary device, so I've got a split screen on my screen. So just setting that split screen up. So don't worry, I'm here. Great.
Guys, make sure you're hitting the like button. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so Deuteronomy 22.
Verse 29.
Yeah, 29. Here we go.
28 and 29.
29. So if a man happens to meet a virgin who is not pledged to be married, and GRAPES is her,
okay,
and they are discovered, he shall pay her father 50 shekels of silver. He must marry the young woman, for he has violated her. He can never divorce her as long as he lives. God damn. So she's stuck for all her life with her rapist, and she can't even get out of that.
My goodness. So you read the NIV and you are now acting as if you're doing something when I already said to you,
bro,
what?
Relax, man.
Bro, what? I'm relaxed. Do I sound like I'm not relaxed? What makes you think I'm not relaxed?
You're tutting and all sorts, bro.
Yeah, because you're doing silly stuff which I told you not to do. That's why.
So one second. So when we put you on your back foot, you're calling it silly stuff.
Bro, how you think I'm on the back foot right now? You actually think I'm on the back foot right now?
So 1 second, bro. Let me clarify something. So what
Stop,
you're saying is,
bro. Stop nervous.
NIV.
Stop nervous laughing,
Right.
bro. Just talk
Yeah,
like a normal
no,
person.
it's not nervous, bro. It's on wallahi, it's genuine laugh, right? So I'm asking you.
Okay.
Right. So the NIV translators, right, the Protestants throughout the world, they've got this wrong. Is that what you're saying?
Do you want to read another translation?
Yeah, let's go to the actual Hebrew 20, so Deuteronomy 22, 28 and 29.
So notice what he's doing, right? I don't have a problem with reading Hebrew, but he doesn't want to read other English translations. He wants to jump straight to the Hebrew.
Yeah, because the English translations are from like the 15th century onwards.
Okay.
So we're looking at the original texts.
Okay.
Right? Okay, so Deuteronomy 22.
Okay.
Right. 22, 28 to 29. Interlinear. Let's have a look. Interlinear. Right, okay. A man finds if who is a virgin, a young woman, and he seizes her, is betrothed not with her, and lies, and they are found. Right, that's 28. Right. And the man then shall give to the father with her whom he lay of the young woman, and his of 50 shekels, that upon wife she shall be, not he as has humbled her, all to divorce her, he shall be permitted his days. Not allowed to divorce her. Yeah, bro, there you go. So if he seizes her, so when you see somebody and you force yourself upon them, right? So that girl, bro, she's got no way out. So in the original Hebrew, right? And I'm going into the lexicon and I'm going into the translation by the scholars, essentially the rabbis and these people.
Essentially the rabbis.
Says,
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Deuteronomy. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a Jewish book.
So you've obviously just embarrassed yourself. You know that, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Go on. Explain.
You embarrassed yourself. So I told you already that the English translations, the majority of them do not use the word grape. I told you that, didn't I?
Yeah.
But you still went to read the NIV translation because you didn't want to debunk yourself, right?
Yeah, and the rabbis essentially translate.
What rabbis? What rabbis?
Okay, I'll give you the names. So Rabbi Tovia Singer here, that's one of them, right? And then all the exegesis on this is talking about grape because he has humbled it.
Get out of here, man.
Is this not why you are here?
He's quoting Rabbi Tovia Singer, the guy we wiped the floor with on Monday's stream. Come on, man. This is why, just for the record, this is why we don't entertain dumb Muslims like that. You tell them stuff and they just don't listen. It doesn't go into their brain. Notice the difference between the callers. The first Muslim I spoke to, who I went through this whole passage with, see how peaceful and calm it was? It was no issue. This one comes up and just can't control himself, is on a... You can't even listen. Muslims, man. Just notice the difference. One came up, we had a nice conversation. I explained everything to him. And he's like, yeah, I learned something today. This one doesn't know anything. And I'll give him credit, he didn't run. At least he didn't run, right? But this is Islam, guys. Cowards who they call in and they don't even want to talk about the Quran. They're so quick to run to the Bible. And when they run to the Bible, they don't even know what the Bible's even saying. And it's so funny because they come with their confidence as if Christians don't know these passages, haven't made videos explaining these passages for centuries. My goodness. He thought going to the Hebrew was helping him. Guys, one of the reasons why, just for everyone else who's interested, right? We spoke about this, I believe, last week, Wednesday as well. Okay, so look. I mentioned to the last caller, right? In verse 25 is where it's clearly talking about a grape. And you see how it says, and a man forced her? You look at this Hebrew word, right? This is one of the reasons why most of the translations don't use grape in 29. One of the reasons is because the word is different here. Go to 28. Lay hold on, it's a different word. That's one of the reasons why the majority of the translators, when they read these passages and they translate into English, they don't use the word grape in 28. That's why, one of the reasons. But that guy is so dumb, he doesn't even know that. That's one of the reasons. Another reason, like I told to the previous caller, is when you look at the parallel passage, it also doesn't use that word, grape. And it's talking about seducing them. It's completely different. These guys, man. Muslims will make you lose brain cells talking to them. They're shook of their own religion. Shook. And this is the thing. I can talk to Muslims about the Bible. If you are humble, if you don't act like a fool, if you don't do silly stuff, if you don't turn into a complete robot, if you're not malfunctioning before you even call in, we can have a conversation. Why can't they do the same with the Quran? Why can't they do the same with the hadith? Why is it just a mention of it and they're shook and they're already running? Oh, let's go and run here. Let's go and talk about this. Let's go and talk about this. Does it look like I'm afraid to talk about what's in the Bible? But for them, oh no, let's not talk about that. Let's not talk about that. Oh, he's a lie. He's this, he's that, he's that. Guys, make it make sense. This is why I entertained him and let him speak. Because you get to see how they behave. Anyone can see the difference between the first caller and him. Totally different. Totally different. Muslims, man, they're just so inconsistent. So inconsistent. And again, that's another reason why they're showing you why they're afraid, why they don't want to call it. So I said we're going to go back to what we started with, right? So we looked at this hadith before, right? This is where Muhammad is telling a woman to breastfeed a grown man. He tells a married woman to breastfeed a grown man. So the concern that her husband has in his heart for this man who's staying in their house now can go away. Because in Islam, at this period in time, you could breastfeed a man and he could then at that point not do anything with you. He couldn't marry you. He couldn't do anything along those lines. So Muhammad says to the woman, breastfeed him. Breastfeed this guy who's staying in your house and then your husband's going to be fine. So she says, how can I breastfeed him when he's a grown man? This is the same question when I was asking the Muslim earlier. He was saying the same thing. Well, how can he do it? It's a grown man. Muhammad says, he smiled and said, I know that he's a grown man. And then it says, she suckled him and she came to Muhammad and said, her husband's displeasure, his concern is gone. This is in the hadith, in their authentic hadith collection. These are the kind of things Muhammad was putting women through. Now, I mentioned we had a video earlier, right? I want to watch this video because this is what we're going to see. Okay. Hold on, guys.
5:19 for me, please.
Pardon?
Can you read Proverbs 5:19, please?
What? Bro.
Just read it and you'll find out.
Are you okay?
Just, bro, you're going to read it or not? Or do you want me to read it out for you?
Are you alright?
Do you want me to read it out for you then?
Are you okay, bro?
Yeah, because it's going to cook you very bad.
Yeah, okay, I'm gonna be cooked so bad. What kind of Muslim are you?
Yeah, go read it then. Proverbs 5:19.
What kind of Muslim are you, bro? Chill out, man. What kind of Muslim are you?
Bro, I've gave you the verse. Stop running.
What kind of Muslim are you?
Proverbs 5:19. And don't cry now.
Alright. Don't look down, Chosky. You're bleeding all over the arena floor. My goodness. These guys are just, this is what Islam does to you guys. Like, You don't even have to say anything. They just malfunction themselves. I'm reading a hadith from their own collection, and he's triggered.
Prove to you that sucking a tit
Listen,
is also in your
second
Bible.
time, a
So will
second
you just stop
time.
being a bitch and read Proverbs 5:19?
Chosky.
Yeah, let's
Don't
just see what it is,
malfunction.
innit?
Don't malfunction.
Read
And we can have a
Proverbs 5:19,
conversation.
and then that will
Don't
answer your question.
malfunction. Don't malfunction.
Oh, look, he's running from his Bible.
I'm running for my Bible.
Yeah, you're like a cow.
These guys are brain dead. I'm telling you, these guys are brain dead. Did anyone ever say that a husband cannot do that to his wife? Did anyone ever say that? Do you see how dumb these people are? They like, this is what Islam does to you. You see earlier on I was saying it turns their brain off. He thinks going to these passages is going to help what we're reading about in the hadith, where Muhammad is telling a woman to breastfeed a man who's not her husband. Imagine the broken logic of this guy. You can see why he's coming up and he's angry, he's mad, and he's screaming and shouting and swearing. He can't control himself. This is what Islam does to you. He can't explain the hadith. His explanation is, let me take him to a passage where it's talking about a husband and it's encouraging him to love his wife and to be intimate with her. Like, this is what Islam does to you. It makes you suspend your brain. You have no, like, the brain cells are just switched off. Islam will make you just say, okay, no more, it's done. So he's here saying, read it, like read it aloud, as if like, he thinks that we're like him. He thinks that Christians are like Muslims. We don't know our book. That's what he thinks. Bro, I always say, I guess maybe I don't say it anyway as much in the apologetic arena, no pun intended. But guys, one of the things I love to say is a proverb a day will keep the folly away. You see? This is the difference. Read a proverb a day as a Christian. In fact, anyone, like I encourage anyone to read a proverb a day. It will bless you. It will transform your life on so many different levels. Trust me. Especially if you read a proverb a day and you actually start applying some of the stuff in the proverb every single day in different areas of your life. That's why when these fools come up and they start doing this nonsense, we can just be wise and do, and we don't have to act like them. So let me show you, right? Because I've spoken about it already, but let me show you what he wanted us to go to, right? And in fact, just because of what he did, I'm going to actually do this even different. I'm going to do this differently, right? So thank you, Chosky. This is inspired by you. Okay. All right. So we're going to do side by side. That's what we're going to do. Okay. We're going to see the wisdom in the Bible, and we're going to see the folly in Islam. Give me a second, guys. All right. So, he's calling back in. Don't call back in to embarrass yourself. You've already embarrassed yourself, man. This is going to be a good clip with you. Don't worry. Dumb Muslim calls in confident and gets crushed. Let's look. We're going to cross-reference. Don't worry. We're going to cross-reference light with darkness. That's what we're going to do. Okay? Okay, where should we start? Hey, I'm King Context after all, aren't I? Okay, let's start at verse 15. Right? We've read the hadith multiple times. We'll read the hadith one more time. Okay, so guys, you can see this, right? So we've got the word of God on one side and we've got words from the enemy on the other. So read this multiple times, read it again. So Salah, Sahal, whoever, whatever his person's name is, whatever, I read it before, Sahel, right, came to the Prophet and said, "O Messenger of Allah, I see signs of displeasure on the face of Abu Hudayfa." Right, when Salim enters upon me, right, Abu Hudayfa is her husband, Salim is the guy who's staying with her. What does the Prophet say because of this? Breastfeed him. Muhammad is telling the woman to breastfeed this man who's staying in her house because her husband doesn't like the fact he's staying in her house anymore. She said to the Prophet, how can I breastfeed him when he's a grown man? That's such a good question, isn't it? And Muhammad said the women were the dumbest people he's ever seen. Half-brained. Okay, let's continue. The Messenger of Allah the Messenger of Allah smiled and said, I know that he is a grown man. So, like a good Muslima, she listened. So she did that. She breastfed him. Then she came to the Prophet and said, I have never seen any signs of displeasure on the face of Abu Hudayfa after that. And he was present at the war. So far, guys, this is what Muhammad is telling this woman to do, this Muslima to do. Go and breastfeed this man. This boy who's grown up in your house, he's a man now. He's living with you, breastfeed him. And she's like, he's a man. How can I breastfeed him? That doesn't make any sense. Muhammad smiled and said, I know he's a grown-up man. Don't worry, breastfeed him. Okay. Now let's see what this dumb Muslim was telling us to go to in cross-reference. All right. So the wisdom here, the hikmah. Proverbs 5 verse 15 says, drink waters out of thine own cistern and running waters out of thine own well. This is just cloaked language for spend time with your wife, okay? Let thy fountains be dispersed abroad, rivers of waters in the streets. Let them be only thine own and not a stranger's with thee. Okay. Let thy fountain be blessed and rejoice with who? You rejoice with the wife of your youth. So he's speaking to a husband. This is not, if Muhammad was saying to, what's her name? Salah bin Suhail, go and be with your husband, Abu Hudayfa, and do this, then cool. No problem. The Bible says the marriage bed is undefiled, right? So do you, boo? Like, if that's what a husband wants to be doing with his wife, halas. I'm not going to say don't do it. You're married, go ahead. But Muhammad wasn't saying that, was he? He's telling this woman to go and breastfeed another man. Okay. What is the wisdom in Proverbs saying? Let's keep going. 17. Let's go back. Let them be only thine own and not strangers with thee. Let thy fountain be blessed and rejoice with the wife of your youth. Let her be as the loving hind and pleasant roe. Let her breast satisfy you at all times, and be thou ravished always with her, what? With her love. Okay? And it goes on to talk about avoiding the strange woman. So notice the difference between the word of God and the word of the enemy. Notice one guy saying, go and spend that quality, pleasurable time with your wife. Right? Rejoice with the wife of your youth. Be ravished, encapsulated, be totally consumed with her love, the love that she has for you. That's what the word of God says. The enemy says, no. The enemy says, go and breastfeed a grown man who's not your husband. This is why, guys, I don't entertain a lot of these Muslims who come up, because they don't know what they're talking about. These guys are brain dead spiritually. This is the difference. This is why I don't entertain them. They don't know what they're talking about. But, like I said, they do give us good clips. So, there you go. Hello.
Yo.
How you doing? You okay?
Yeah, I saw you in an apartment.
You saw me in an apartment?
Yeah. Touching a girl.
You saw me touching a girl? Okay.
Yeah.
This is what you were saying I was scared to deal with. You saying you saw me in an apartment?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is this what Christianity teaches us?
What's wrong with that?
What's wrong with touching a girl up?
What's wrong with that?
What's wrong with touching a girl and making her cry?
Okay.
Are you thick?
If a man makes a woman cry, that's bad, yeah.
Gibberish.
Alright. This is what Islam. I'm not gonna tell you to not look down. Right. Don't worry. This is what Islam does to you. Pray for young people like that God will save them and rescue them out of this darkness. Right. They saw me in an apartment. Guys, my goodness. My goodness.
Now, why is my man saying what's wrong with touching a girl? What do you mean what's wrong with touching a girl? Everything's wrong with that.
Because I'm playing along with you. That's why. It's a joke. All right?
Oh, it's a very funny joke.
It's a joke.
Ha.
You've been here.
P. Diddy, Jeffrey Epstein.
P. Diddy, Jeffrey Epstein, yeah. What's wrong with Jeffrey Epstein? Tell me. Tell me what's wrong with Jeffrey Epstein.
I don't know. You tell me.
You tell me.
Who's Jeffrey Epstein?
You tell me what's wrong with what he did. What did he do? Act as if I don't know who Jeffrey Epstein is. So tell me what he did. Explain. Exactly. As young as that Muslim is, I think that young Muslim's smart enough to know that the moment she starts telling us about Jeffrey Epstein, all we're going to have to do is pull out one or two sources from their authentic hadith and Quran collection, and it's over for them. So, guys, suffer not the young children, right? Don't stop them. Hopefully. Because that person's been listening for a little bit. So hopefully the little that they've heard today can help them understand and wake up. And see how a Christian carries themselves compared to how different Muslims are carrying themselves. Okay. This is like, I don't know, that last caller, that might be the best clip of the month. It actually might be. We've had some interesting conversations this month. Like we've had a Muslim say, we don't use our brains in Islam. What else have we had? We've had a woman laughing at the fact that the Quran says you can beat your wife. That was interesting as well. Even today, actually, today's might be one of those special streams. Because the Muslim caller earlier, what did he say? He said it's a miracle. It went from him saying, Muhammad saying to tell a woman to breastfeed a man who's not a husband is bad. He said that's bad. Breastfeeding a man is bad. And then the moment he realized Muhammad did it, he said, oh, it's a miracle. That's obviously miraculous. There's the flip-flop and the transformation so quickly, that was miraculous. And the last caller, oh my goodness. His rebuttal to Muhammad telling a woman to breastfeed a grown man who's not a husband is to take us to a passage in the book of wisdom in the Bible, Proverbs, where the wise King Solomon is telling you as a husband to spend your time with your wife and love on each other. We've got some stark competition this month. And we've even got some stark competition within today's live stream. My goodness. This is like, I said this last time. I'm going to keep saying it. This is why Muslims cannot win. If you call in, you are going to embarrass yourself. If you don't call in, you just continue to show how much of cowards you are. And these streams, they're different, but they might even be better than the other streams. Because all of this, like, they can't control themselves, but all they can do is manifest. That's it. So it creates these new situations where they're doing and saying some of the craziest stuff that people weren't even saying before, which is mad. My goodness. Thank you for those of you who are liking the live. Okay. And it's funny. It's like, it's always funny when the Muslims start saying, "Oh well, the views are low," but then at the same time they're reporting the live stream. Make that make sense. You see, this is the thing. The Muslims think that this is just about views. This is, oh yeah, I'm trying to get loads of views. I can do this with one person watching. Like, that's what they don't understand. Jesus is the one that gave the parable in Luke chapter 15 about the shepherd who left the 99 and went after the one sheep. That's something real in Christianity. I'll go out and do this sort of stuff even for one person. This is how important one person is in Christianity. Whether you're a man or a woman, it doesn't matter. Right? It doesn't matter. I will go out there for you, for one person. If one Muslim hears what I'm talking about and their eyes are opened, they see that other Muslims who I'm talking to or engaging with in the chat, if they see that these people are brain dead, spiritually brain dead, their brains have been turned off and they wake up, praise God. It was worth it. It was worth it. They don't understand that. Because for them, they think it's all about having a huge audience and all this different kind of stuff. It's not about that. That's great and that will be good, but it's about the soul that can be helped on any given day. That's what it's about. This is why I'll continue to go. They think, yeah, keep reporting the live stream, keep reporting the live stream. He's going to stop. I'm not going to stop. They don't understand. You're actually convincing me to keep going. That's what they don't understand. The more you restrict the live stream and report the live stream for me reading your Quran and reading your hadith, that actually tells me, okay, yes, you know what? You are doing the right thing. I'm stomping on the head of Satan. I'm stomping on the Satan's head. And he doesn't like it. He hates it. But you know what? I love it. I love crushing the head of the serpent. I love it. And I'll keep doing it for as long as God gives me the power to do it. And it's not just Islam, right? I said this before. Monday stream was Orthodox Judaism, people like Rabbi Weisinger. We crushed their weak arguments of why they reject Jesus as the Messiah. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You want to come against Christianity, I'm going to show you all these different groups how to handle them. I'll show you. All right. I said before that last caller, right, we're going to go to a video, right? So it seems like today's live stream was the breastfeeding live stream, right? They don't know what to do with this account. They just don't. All they can do is manifest. But this is a scholar in Islam. He's actually one of the more popular scholars, like at least like in modern times. Excuse me. And he's talking about these breastfeeding accounts. So let's listen to what he says about this particular passage.
Labib from Bangladesh.
Sheikh, I have a doubt regarding a hadith, and I believe you clearly it. A hadith narrated in a Muslim, by Imam Muslim, that the Sahla, may Allah be pleased with her, she breastfed Salim. And from this particular hadith, some scholars such as Ibn Taymiyyah and Ibn Qayyim, they say that a grown-up man, if he drinks a breast milk of an woman, he becomes his mahram.
Okay, so just so far, he's talking about the breastfeeding hadith, which we've spoken about multiple times today. And he's saying he has some doubts about it. He's trying to get some information about it. And he's like, look, he mentions two scholars, Ibn Taymiyyah and who was the other guy? It was another popular guy. Let me go back. What was his name?
And from this particular hadith, some scholars such as Ibn Taymiyyah and Ibn Qayyim, they say...
Okay, sorry. Ibn Taymiyyah and Ibn Qayyim, right? Key historical scholars for Islam, right? They're saying that this is authentic, this is true, etc.
Say that a grown-up man, if he drinks a breast milk of an woman, he becomes his mahram. Which other scholars...
And the mahram is basically now, she's his guardian, like, so he can't marry her, he can't have any sort of intercourse or like sexual relationship with her.
Didn't agree with me. Yeah. Now my question is, Sheikh, if this was the case, then shouldn't it be that the mahram relationship is built when adult man is drinking from the woman? And moreover, how can a man drink from breastfeed from who is not mahram, as we know that is not permissible? Is there anything like such as that she pour milk on her cup and drink it, as though some scholars say? Please clarify for me, Sheikh.
Inshallah.
Okay, so before he goes, basically he's there saying is, okay, cool. This is what the hadith says. And what are we to do of this hadith? and he says, look, Ibn Taymiyyah, Ibn Qayyim, key, like I said, scholars say that this is legit, etc. And their point, and he's like, well, look, like, what does it mean? Like, he's asking the same question which the previous Muslim caller asked earlier on, which the woman in the hadith asked as well. How can I suckle? How can I breastfeed him? He's a grown man. The caller in is asking the same question to the scholar. How can he do this? How can she do this if he's a grown man, etc.? Is there any grounds or any basis in putting the milk into a cup and giving it to the man? Because that's one of the rescue devices some of the Muslim scholars try to use, which again makes no sense, because the woman wouldn't be asking, how's she going to do this? That doesn't really make much sense if it's talking about putting your milk in a cup and then giving it to him for him to drink. And even if you look at the other like hadith narrations, Muhammad's wife Aisha, she used to do it. She used to, like, when you look at the hadith, it talks about stuff like she would, when she wanted like men to come and be around her, she wouldn't do it herself. She would tell like her sisters and those sorts of people to do it for her, so they could obviously be around in the vicinity. Because according to this like the law, if your sister does it, then the man becomes apparently like haram. He's not lawful for any of you. That's like the logic why Aisha, his wife, would tell her family to do it for her, etc. But the narrations also talk about how Muhammad's other wives weren't interested in it. They did not want to do it, and rightly so. Like, why would they want to do it? So this is what he's basically talking about. Let's listen to what the Sheikh says.
Labib is asking about an issue known as suckling an adult. And
you hear that? Suckling an adult. I had a call before, maybe like last week or the week before, and the guy was saying, no, he's not an adult. He's fighting with me, saying it's not an adult, when the hadith is actually saying he's an adult. He's a grown man.
This is an issue of dispute. There is only one single hadith where Salim, the freed slave of Abu Hudhayfa ibn Rabi'ah, ibn Utbah, that is, Utbah ibn Rabi'ah, and when he was freed, he was a little child. So he grew up in the house of his previous master, and when he reached the age of puberty, he was like their son, coming in and out of the house. But then, now he's a grown-up man. His wife complained to the Prophet ﷺ that Abu Hudhayfa is not at ease when he comes home, that is Salim, when he comes home and sees me in my home attire, not wearing the abaya, not wearing the full hijab, because I'm home.
So imagine this, right? Which is, again, it's like mind-boggling when you think about it. But again, many of the Muslims you speak to, their brains are turned off. So they don't even think on this level. Abu Hudayfa is the husband. He's starting to feel uncomfortable about apparently his former slave, who he raised. He's now uncomfortable thinking this person he's apparently raised from a young boy is now going to do something to his wife. Does that make sense? Imagine, let's just use this as an example. Imagine a man and a woman, they adopt a man, like a boy, sorry, and they raise him up. And he becomes a man now, and they're like, the man is starting to worry, like, I've raised you like a son, but for some reason, I'm having doubt inside that you're going to do something. I'm feeling uncomfortable with you around my wife. Does that make sense? But anyway, so this is the logic. So this is obviously what he's talking about here.
So what to do? The Prophet instructed her, ﷺ, to suckle him. So she said, "O Prophet of Allah, he's a grown-up man. He's got a beard."
He's a grown-up man, Muhammad. He's got a beard. How am I going to breastfeed him?
He said, "I know. Suckle him milk and he will become your son."
If you raised him, isn't he already like your son, sort of? But again, this is the logic.
Now this hadith is authentic.
What? You wouldn't say, would you? Isn't that what the Muslim said to me as well when I showed him the hadith? So that, okay, I've read it now, I need to check the chain. And you went to check it and he said, oh, it's authentic.
Become your son. Now this hadith is authentic.
It's authentic.
No doubt in that.
No doubt it's authentic.
How to understand it without going into technicalities is what we should do. What do you mean by going into technicalities?
So that is a good question. How do we understand breastfeeding without going into technicalities? Well, if you're not going to go into any technicalities, then breastfeeding is just breastfeeding. It's very simple. The woman's going to whip it out, put it in his mouth, and bear in mind, guys, as well, I've not said this before, but it wasn't just one time. Apparently, it started as you do this 10 times, and then it went down to 5 before the goat, that famous goat, or the famous sheep, ate the Quran verses, which had this in the Quran. But let's not digress any further. So it's not, that's the Sheikh's way of saying, basically, it's not putting breast milk in the cup, because that's you now trying to explain it away and think through different ways to explain what's clear. The woman knew what was clear in the hadith. That's why she's saying, how can I do it?
How is he going to suckle? Is he going to touch her directly and she's a non-mahram to him before suckling? Or is she going to put some milk in a cup and he drinks a cup and this would be considered one suckling and he has to do this 5 times? How many times? This is something we don't have information of.
We don't have information on how to breastfeed. That's basically what he's saying. Is it going in a cup? Well, that's not breastfeeding. Is it like, guys, right? Today, well, the mums out there who give their babies breast milk, right? Or still not breast milk, bottle milk, right? Formula and stuff like that. Do you consider that? Do you say, oh yeah, you're breastfeeding, you're suckling when you give a baby a bottle and the baby drinks the milk from the bottle? We don't call it that. We know what it is. The baby's drinking from the bottle. That's not breastfeeding. We know what breastfeeding is. So we don't need to suspend our reason. We don't need to suspend our akal, our reason and logic. We can just say clearly, yes, Muhammad knew what he was talking about. The woman knew what he was talking about. Everybody knew what they were talking about. Even Muhammad's other wives, even Muhammad's wives knew what he was talking about. That's why Aisha said, yeah, I ain't about this business. My sisters can do it for me. And Muhammad's other wives weren't about this business. They said that we ain't doing that. No. This is long. That's the real reason the sheep ate that Quran verse. Trust me.
But definitely it's not what some of our filthy minds may jump to conclusion.
What does that even mean? If Muhammad says to a woman, breastfeed a man, and this scholar even said it himself, he's a man, he's got a beard. What is our filthy mind going to other than what is just obvious? He is telling her to breastfeed him. This is very simple. It's got nothing to do with having a filthy mind or not understanding or not knowing XYZ. This is just what it's saying. It's very simple. Very simple. Unless you don't need it to be simple.
Definitely. But how? This is none of our business at the moment. Yet we have the good intention to think well of the companions. Secondly,
what does that even mean? We have good intentions to think well of the companions. What does that mean? That means they what? They don't breastfeed, like Muhammad said. Like, make it make sense. It doesn't make sense. All right, let's keep going.
Did anybody apply this concept other than them? The answer is no, with the exception of Mother Aisha.
So, see, you notice what he's doing there. Did anyone accept? Did everyone else do this? No, except Aisha. You see, why do you have to play funny games and be deceptive with it? Yes, Aisha, as I already mentioned, was doing it by proxy of her family members. So if Muhammad is told this woman to do it, to Salim, and Aisha is telling her family members to do it as well, yes, other people are doing it. They are doing it. This is I'm telling you. And the women clearly were doing it reluctantly because they didn't want to do it, obviously. And that's why every time we hear about it, at least in the things we mentioned today, right? In the original hadith we've been speaking about, the woman didn't want to do it. In the hadith which is mentioning Aisha, she doesn't want to do it. So she's sending her family members to do it. Muhammad's other wives don't want to do it. It's obvious they don't want to do it. Oh, look, guys, we've got another person. Actually, I'll deal with that in a second. Let's keep going though. Notice.
So Mother Aisha used to take this hadith, and whenever she wanted to unveil herself among men, she used to order her nieces to do the same thing, to offer the milk to that person, and he would become mahram to her because she would be his grandmom.
Guys, if it was putting it in a cup and giving it to the man, why wouldn't Aisha do it herself? See? You just use your brain as you process through the literature, their sources, and it just all makes sense.
But all the other wives of the Prophet ﷺ totally prohibited this.
Yeah, why do you think they prohibited this? Because they didn't want to do it. That's why the sheep ate the Quran verse, and it's no longer in the Quran.
And did not approve of this. All the companions of the Prophet ﷺ did not approve of this. Why? Because they all understood that this was a specific incident only for Salim, Mawla Abi Hudayfa. That's it.
And they clearly didn't all understand that, hence why, as he already said, Aisha was doing it by proxy of her family members.
It's not to be cascaded to anyone else. And this is what the vast majority of all scholars of Islam have concluded.
And the crazy thing about this is, obviously, if you think about it from that perspective, Muslims seem to think just because, let's say we say, okay, yeah, this was only like a certain scenario, that doesn't make it right. It's still a problem. They just, oh, okay, yeah, we're limiting the damage. There's still damage. You've still got blood all over yourself. Thank you for the follow. It's like they just don't get it.
Now, if there is an exception by one or two scholars who thought that they have room to maneuver like Mother Aisha did, this is their ijtihad.
And remember, not just one, Ibn Taymiyyah and Ibn Hazm. Not just any ordinary scholar or ordinary scholars.
But it is not at all compelling or permissible to go for their ijtihad and leave all the others who have compelling evidences to prohibit this and to only accept this as an isolated incident for Salim, Mawla Abu Hudayfa, and Allah knows best.
All right, so guys, just understand as well, this is the desperation. Now, all he did is appeal to the mass, appeal to authority. Oh, so many scholars agree. That doesn't mean anything. That's not how we get to truth. That may be how Islam tries to smuggle their way to truth, but that's not how this works. You have to look at the argumentation and the presentation of the people that are making this case. So Ibn Taymiyyah, Ibn Hazm, and all the other people who are on that side of the fence, what arguments are they bringing to the table? Why should we follow them? Why should we not follow them? We can't just say, oh, because all of these people on the other side said no. That's not how this works. Now, what I was talking about before is we've got another Muslim who came in and said, oh, look, he's quoting the same passage. The last two Muslim callers tried to present, which we debunk them both. Again, because again, they don't know the Bible, right? They go on Google, they try and find out bad stuff, and they end up looking like fools. Now, Rami, I dare you to call in and let's talk about 50 shekels so I can bury that weak argument. The other thing I was going to say is, guys, they reported the live stream again. So what are we at, like 6 now? 6 times? 6 times. I think last time it was 10. Guys, this, like, what a stream, guys. We've been going on in this stream. What a stream. The live stream weren't even working properly initially, still going through some technical difficulties. The chat isn't even working like it normally does, guys. And we're still able to get the job done. We're still able to get the job done, guys. Isn't God a good God? Isn't he good? All right. Muslims. We got them running for the hills, reporting the live stream in record time and in record number. All because They're afraid. Another proverb. The wicked flee when no one's pursuing them, but the righteous are as bold as a lion. When you've got the truth, there's nothing to be afraid of. That's why they resort to cancelling you, to try and limit you, to try and cut you off, to try and stop you. They're shook. They're afraid. They're cowards. All because they can't explain any of the stuff we've spoken about today. We talk about breastfeeding a man, and the Muslims come up and give us entertainment and take us to Proverbs, which, thank you, because what Christian man doesn't need reminding and encouragement? Go spend time with your wife, love on your wife, let your wife love on you, etc. Thank you for liking the live. Guys, all right, let's look at something else, right? What have we looked at today? We've looked at, this is going to go down as a stream to remember, trust me. As much as the enemy has tried to stop this stream today, it continues to go forward. It continues to be a good one, right? One way or another. All right, let's look at, we look at this. We didn't look at this last. I was going to go to it, I think, but I didn't get around to it. Okay, let's read this one, right? Another one that's just going to have them shook. Have them running for the hills. Like cowards. All right. This is Abu Dawud, Sunan Abu Dawud 2459. A woman came to the Prophet while we were with him, and she said, Messenger of Allah, my husband, Safwan ibn al-Muwatta'u, he beats me. Wow. When? When I pray. Imagine. A man in Islam, when the Prophet was there, was beating his wife because she prayed. He makes me break my fast, she says, when I keep a fast, and he does not offer the dawn prayer until the sun rises. The woman's praying, guys, and her husband's beating her. Muhammad asked Safwan, who was present, about what she had said. He replied, Messenger of Allah, as for her statement, he beats me when I pray. She recites 2 surahs during prayer, and I have prohibited her to do so. Guys, his explanation was she's praying too much. Muhammad, I beat her. She's not lying. I beat her. I beat her so lightly with my miswak, she came to tell you. Guys, this is what your brain does on Islam. A woman is going to come and complain about being beaten lightly with a miswak because she's praying too much. This is what they want you to believe. They want you to turn your brain off and read this hadith and say, okay, yeah, the woman is praying and the husband picked up his miswak and he's beating her lightly. Honey, stop praying too much. I said, stop praying too much. He's beating her lightly, apparently. This is what they want you to believe. Does this sound like he's beating her lightly? This is what they want you to believe, guys. He didn't deny it. He didn't say, no, I didn't beat her. I did beat her, Muhammad. That's what he says. Because she's praying too much. I told her, don't recite 2 surahs in prayer. Only recite less. And this is the special moment where we're going to see Muhammad turn around and say, this is bad. Don't do this. He, the Prophet, said, if 1 surah is recited during prayer, this is sufficient for the people. He sided with the man and said, yeah, it's cool. The reason you gave me for beating her, it's good enough. It's good enough, guys. Hello.
Hey, Christian man, you do understand
Hello.
that domestic.
Hello,
You do understand that domestic is
Chosky.
allowed. You
Chosky.
understand domestic is allowed in your Bible.
Chosky.
Mm-hmm.
Chosky.
Mm-hmm.
Chosky, listen. You've already embarrassed yourself already once in today's live stream.
Bro, you just removed me without even letting me finish.
You already embarrassed yourself
Bro,
once already.
shut up, man.
You already
You know
embarrassed
nothing about your
yourself.
Bible.
You already embarrassed yourself. You
Your women
might
can't
have
get
given me.
divorced apart from
You
adultery,
might have
so
given
domestic
me
is
the
allowed.
clip of
You
the
do
month.
understand
You
this?
do know that, right?
You do understand this. You know
You
that.
do know you've already given me probably the clip of the month. You do know that, right?
You didn't even let me finish. You're a
Bro,
coward.
bro, I'm a coward.
Yeah, you are. You know, in
Bro.
your Bible, your women can't get divorced apart from adultery, so domestic is allowed. Do you
My
agree?
goodness. Bro, for the second time, don't look down. Somehow, you were bleeding all over the place and you've now came back somehow. Don't come back, man. What Islam will do to you. Guys, this guy embarrassed himself earlier on. Instead of him to check himself and say, you know what? I made a fool of myself earlier on. Instead of him to check himself and say, yeah, maybe I should come humbly this time. Maybe I should actually chill out this time. He comes back doing the same thing. These guys, man, they come back doing the same thing. Rami, feel free to call in if you are Muslim and you want to have a conversation. Don't be afraid. Let me block this last caller. I don't want to talk to him again. These guys, they're shook. That's why they come up and they can't even have basic decorum. You can't even come on and have just a good conversation. Let's have a conversation. Let's be civil. Let's talk through this stuff. They come up and they're already malfunctioning. They come up and they don't even want to touch the Quran. They don't even want to touch the hadith. Why didn't he say anything about what I was saying? What was he was saying? Something like, oh, actually, he said, what did he say? Oh yeah, you do know domestic is allowed, right? I would have loved to actually continue with that conversation with him a little bit, hear what he's saying, right? He just heard me talking about, oh yeah, beat lightly with a muswak, beat lightly with a muswak, and I'm sure he probably still would have came and said that same nonsense. Rami, don't talk tough from the comment section. Call in. Come and defend the women in Islam. You see, I say this again, right? Where's this video? This guy. I might have to start playing this multiple times in the live stream now. The women can defend themselves. Okay. Muslims are more than welcome to come up. This is who this live stream is for, right? This is to help, obviously, Christian women. But from the Muslim perspective, I'd rather speak to a Muslim, if I'm honest, because the Muslim men obviously don't care about this stuff. They are happy with this stuff because it empowers them to mistreat their women. Okay, they wear hijab because they want to. Okay. You said anything about hijab? I didn't say anything about hijab. Muslims have bigger issues to concern themselves with in Islam than a hijab. Trust me. And any Muslim is welcome to call in and to find out why. Or a Muslim. Like what? Call in and I'll tell you some reasons. All the people I've spoken to today, I've given them reasons. When I haven't... Oh, look, another restriction, guys. What, are we on 7 now? 7 times they've reported the live stream? 7 times? But they will still call in and say, I'm a coward. Do you think they want people like retired old school G50? Do you think they don't want people like, I assume this is a Muslim, they don't, it's got a male picture anyway, but they don't want people like this to call in. I'm not talking about nothing. Okay, I've been speaking for how long? Like nearly like 2.5 hours. talking through different Islamic sources, the hadith, the Quran, etc., showing multiple different reasons. But apparently I know nothing. When the Muslim caller previously was saying, yes, the hadith I'm talking about is authentic. When we just saw the Muslim sheikh in the video say, oh yes, this is authentic, there's no doubt. No woman apparently wants to talk to me. Hence why I've had many conversations with Muslims before. And I'm sure I have many more conversations with Muslims in the future. So, notice guys, it's just the same, man. It's the same. Big talk, no action. For so many of them, it's big talk, no action. So many of them. Big talk, no action. Find me a better topic. Why would I go to a better topic? Why would I go to this is a topic.
Buddy, how you doing, man?
Good enough. I'm blessed, bro. How you doing? You alright?
Good. I'm all right, man. You where you from, the UK?
Yeah, where are you from?
Good old America, man.
Okay, where in America are you? West Coast, East Coast, Middle, Central?
South. I'm in the South. Yeah.
Okay, what state?
Georgia.
Okay.
You familiar with Georgia?
Yeah. How do you find Georgia? You like it?
We're out here. I don't know if you recognize, but we're out here in the Bible Belt.
Okay, yeah.
You know, and and here's the thing: a lot of people don't like to appreciate, but we're over here. The Christians here take everything about the Bible very strictly. The Old Testament, New Testament. It's literally called the Bible Belt. There's no churches anywhere in the world as much as there is over here around the Bible Belt. So that's like Georgia, Alabama, like going across Mississippi. A lot of churches out here, right?
Yep.
And I'd say so much so even to the point where there's a pastor over here. His unfortunately something happened with his daughter. His daughter got raped, and they actually found the guy that raped his daughter. And and he stuck by the Bible, and the guy actually paid the pastor $50.
Oh, really?
And he was able to marry his daughter.
So you think 50 shekels is $50? That's what you think? In comparison,
what is 50 shekels?
You don't know what 50 shekels is?
Yeah, I know what 50 shekels. 50 shekels of silver.
You don't know what the valuation of that?
Well, what is the valuation of 50 shekels?
Well, at most,
because
listen to me, bro. Listen to me. Let me talk. In that time period, 50 shekels was as small as 6 months worth of wages, or as much as 5 years worth of wages. Is that small?
No, it wasn't.
Oh, okay, cool.
Actually, as a matter of fact, Christian scholars would say about $300.
So it's not $50 then. Come on, man.
No. Actually, Christian scholars would say it's about $300 to $500 at the most.
Okay.
So is $500 worth your daughter's virginity?
Well, what you have to realize first and foremost. Listen to me, bro. Listen to me.
Yes or no?
Listen to me, because you're conflating. This is why I said we're not going to compare $300 today to like thousands of years ago. That's why I said to you. Listen to me. I know more about shekels than you, obviously. So, this is why I'm saying to you.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do. Don't. Yes, I clearly do. That's why I'm telling you that 50 shekels was 6 months worth of wages on the low end, or 5 years worth of wages on the high end. I know that. You don't know that.
Let's say it's a year. Let's say it's a year of wages.
Let's go. Let's go with 6 months. Let's go with 6 months.
No, I don't want to go 6 months.
Let's go with 6 months.
Let's go with 6 years.
Let's go on the lower end. Let's go with 6 months.
No. I want to go the high end.
Let's go with 6 months. 6 months.
Okay.
On the lowest,
is that worth your daughter's virginity?
Worst case scenario, 6 months.
Yes or no?
Listen to me. Worst case scenario, 6 months worth of wages. Is that small or big? What do you think about that? If you had to give up 6 months worth of wages, do you think that's a lot or is small?
It depends on what you're buying. So in this case, it's cheap. It's nothing.
How is it cheap?
For your daughter to get raped,
she didn't have
to marry her for the rest of her life.
She didn't get raped
and can't divorce her.
She didn't get raped.
That's nothing.
That's
no money.
She didn't get raped. That's not what happened. I've spoken to multiple callers, Muslim callers today, and I've said the same thing to them. He didn't grape her.
No, it is grape.
No, it
Seized
isn't.
her forcefully.
No, it
Seized
isn't.
her
No, it isn't.
forcefully.
No, it isn't.
No, it seized her forcefully. So if somebody seizes your daughter forcefully,
Where does it say he seized her forcefully?
he seized her forcefully.
Where
It actually says it in the lexicon.
Where does it say that?
It's actually in the Hebrew lexicon.
My goodness.
You didn't know that?
Bro,
To seize forcefully.
I'm telling
so if
you.
you take something forcefully,
My goodness.
is that if you take a woman forcefully?
My goodness.
What is that?
Why? Okay.
No, I'm just saying.
Okay, listen.
It's your Bible. You
Yeah, I know. Apparent paganism.
Right?
Okay. Why didn't it say?
Right.
Why does it use a different word in verse 25 when it's actually talking about rape to verse 28? Explain that.
No, I'm talking about verse 28.
Listen to me. I like
when
that. I love that silence, by the way. I love that silence, by the way. You see that silence? I loved it. This is the guy who's talking about he's going to Hebrew and he knows Hebrew. Explain why in verse 25 why in verse 25 does it use a different word in Hebrew?
And
when it's actually talking about rape.
You're panicking.
I'm panicking.
You're panicking,
guys.
bro.
Do I sound like I'm panicking? Do I look like I'm panicking?
Another thing is,
do I look like I'm panicking, guys?
Is the girl a virgin girl? Is that a woman or a girl?
What?
Why are you panicking, bro? Answer the question. I hear nothing but silence.
You're eating, yeah?
This is a girl.
You're saying I'm panicking.
Word. Is it a virgin girl, a child? Is it a child?
Let's look at the Hebrew, right? Since you're so excited.
Look at the Hebrew.
I'm going to it now.
Virgin girl. Not a woman.
Hold on. This is Islam, guys.
And then we also got to talk about how your Jesus
oh my goodness.
told Moses, the army of Moses,
you see how this guy's running
to
away,
rape those little girls, bro.
No, it didn't.
I'm not running away. I'm right here.
I'm
running away.
Bro, you're a liar,
Actually,
bro.
pull it up. Pull it up.
You're a liar.
Bro, don't be... Look, King.
Bro,
relax.
Bro, I'm relaxed. Okay? You think if you say relax...
Pull it up.
Do you think if you say relax, I'm going to use your... believe in your reverse psychology?
Bro,
like I'm not relaxed. I'm relaxed,
just show it. Just show it.
Bro,
I want you to be very relaxed.
Deuteronomy 29 and Numbers...
But if you have a daughter, you're not going to be relaxed.
Bro,
go ahead.
I've got multiple daughters. I know what the verses say.
Oh my God.
I know what the verses say. I know what the verses say.
Okay, explain what the verses say.
Okay.
They were together. Your daughter and the random guy was together.
Yes.
And then
yes.
Then they got found.
When you look at the why are you laughing? Why are you laughing?
Okay, go ahead. Because it's funny.
What's funny?
I have Hebrew scholars.
I haven't even said anything yet.
Rabbis that say yes, it was a girl, it was a virgin girl, and she gets raped. Actually, Bible verses.
You've got
the KJV, the translation
the
says
KJV.
grape.
No, it doesn't. What are you talking about?
Yes, it does say grape. There's
goodness.
many translation that says.
I'm done with you. I'm done with you, man. Yeah. I'm running so fast, man. These dumb people. Oh my goodness. These guys say we're not normal. All right, let's do this, right? I want to show you because for some reason they just don't seem to get it, right? You guys can see this, right? This is the verse. Okay. So let's look through multiple verses, right? NIV, number 1. You see what it says here? Grape. NLT. Who's a virgin that is not engaged to be married if they are discovered. It doesn't say anything about grape. ESV. Doesn't say anything about grape. Berean. Doesn't say anything about grape. I guess he was harping on seas, right? Which he can... Or let's just say, let's say Berean is in the middle, right? If a man finds a damsel virgin betrothed and lay hold on her, not talking about grape. New King James seizes, New American seizes, NASB seizes. See, notice how most of these translations, guys, like I said earlier on, aren't saying grape. Why is that? Because they don't put an interpretation on the verse like the NIV does. Like, and this is what I'm trying to get you to realize. Okay, so CSB, it mentions that. Holman, it mentions it. You notice how it's a lot of these fringe translations which most people don't even read. But read through contemporary CEV says force, but hopefully you get the point. You read through a lot of these different translations. This is one way to get understanding about what a passage is actually saying. You look at multiple English translations and you get a feel, okay, what's actually being said here? And then what you do next is you you look at the Hebrew. Okay, you look at the Hebrew word, and this is why I said to him, okay, one of the reasons why a lot of the translations don't say grape in 28 is because when it's talking clearly about a grape in verse 25, it uses, number one, a different word, which you have to ask yourself, why is it doing that? This is something you look at and you say, okay, cool. Is it speaking about the same thing, or is it speaking about something different? These are things you factor in. You look at the cross-reference, the parallel verse in Exodus. It's not talking about grape. Okay, this is another reason. You look at stuff in that way, and these are how you actually build to a interpretation which actually makes sense. So most of these Muslims, they don't care about any of this stuff. And because they're so afraid of their own book, they don't want to talk about it. They don't want you to read this stuff, to know this stuff. But like, it's funny to me when I speak to these Muslims and they're like, oh, you're so afraid. But like, guys, this is not my first channel online, right? I've got a completely separate Bible study channel, which I've had for probably about 10 years now. I've done videos on all of these topics. Like, other people have done videos on all of these topics. These are not like these new topics where it's like, at least let me speak for myself. I'm going to be like, oh, like, I've never seen this before. That's not how this works. These Muslims that call in, they're so desperate. They call in and malfunction already. They don't want you to mention anything about the Quran. And they think because they're petrified to speak about their sources, we're going to be petrified to speak about the sources. I don't have a problem speaking about these things. Because I've studied them, I've looked into them, and come to my own conclusions. This is what you're supposed to do. This is what the Bible talks about in Acts 17:11, being Berean-like, studying the scriptures. This is the difference. They don't study their religion. They just recite it like brainwashed zombies. That's all they do. So when you start talking to them about the Quran and the hadith and all this different kind of stuff, they're shook. They're petrified. They're scared. They're afraid. They don't want to read it. And because they're like that, they project onto us and think we're doing the same thing. Guys, I can talk about the Bible all day and all night. Trust me. I could do that all day and all night. I love talking about the Bible. They don't love talking about the Quran. They do not love talking about the hadith. This is why they keep reporting the live stream. Because they're shook. They don't want Muslims to find out about this stuff. And at the same time, they don't want Muslims to get the answers that we're talking about. This is the difference. One religion encourages you and prepares you to be strong and bold and true and truthful. The other religion turns you into a coward, where you can't deal with the people's arguments. You can't stop them in the argument arena. You start, how else can we stop them? Yeah, let's try and counsel them. Let's try and unalive them. Let's do everything we can, because we can't deal with their arguments, to stop them. This is what they have to do, because they're shook. And that's why they project, oh, don't be nervous, don't be afraid, don't be scared. Who's scared? I'm standing right here, the same place I was standing 2.5 hours ago. I'm not flinching. We can read these passages. But when it's time to go to the Quran, when it's time to go to the Hadith, don't be afraid. See? Notice the difference. I'm not going to start explaining away stuff. I'm not. They explain, oh yeah, it's an authentic hadith, but I don't really get down with that, you know. That's what they do. They explain it away. That's what they do. All these guys are shook. All right, guys. Looks like I'm going to wrap up the live stream today at this point. This was a really good live stream, man. I'm not even going to lie. This was a really good live stream. And the powerful thing about this is it doesn't matter. Whether we get loads of callers or we get small callers, it doesn't matter. Like, God will still become victorious in all of these different situations, one way or another. So as much as they say don't speak to me on this particular topic, as much as they run and hide and all this different kind of stuff, as much as many of them come in and we have these conversations and we speak to them, like, it doesn't matter whether they come or they don't come. They embarrass their religion. They show why, as a woman especially, you should never like escape Islam if you're a woman as quickly as possible. Right? Christianity doesn't treat you like this. Christianity is the complete opposite of Islam. The complete opposite. We don't need to lie. We don't need to counsel you. We can come into the arena and have conversations with you. We can debate like real men. We can exchange words and see who comes out on top. They don't want to do that. They want to run as much as possible because they're shook. They want to lie. They want to accuse, attack, assault, do all of this stuff instead of actually just deal with what's actually being said. This is Ramadan time for them. I was mentioning this earlier on. This is the time where they're supposed to be setting themselves apart, where they're supposed to be their most holiest. But they'll still come on live streams and lie and deceive and insult people, tell lies about them, assassinate character, instead of actually just tell the truth. All right, guys. Well, this is another edition of Women Wednesday. To God be the glory. And again, this is another way for you to learn how to defend your faith as a Christian. On Monday, earlier on in the week, we looked at Orthodox Judaism, and I showed you Orthodox Jews have no good reasons to reject Jesus as the Messiah. That's what we looked at on Monday. Today was Women Wednesday. Again, dealing with the argument, does Islam really honor women more than Christianity? Again, we've seen that they don't. Right? Mondays and Wednesdays, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, same place, 9 p.m. UK. Right? I'm going to show you how to defend your faith as a Christian against atheism, against Orthodox Judaism, against Hebrew Israelites, and against Islam. That's what you're going to see on this channel. So if you like this sort of content, don't forget to like it if you haven't done it so already. Subscribe to the channel so you get those notifications. And if not before then, right, I may pop up with an impromptu live stream before next Monday. But if not before then, I'll see you again, same place, same time. Most likely going to be doing a different topic. So God bless, guys. And until then, make sure you're enjoying the clips that go out every single day, just so you're prepared for the real life, real experience. Okay. And one last time, let's go out on a laugh, right? As the Muslims are excited. Look, I just literally ended the stream and started the stream again. And he says 2 people watching you and you want to continue other people's religion, convince other people's religion are bad. It just shows how. Okay. Let's laugh at this one as we go out today, guys. That the Muslims reported the live stream, I think it was 7 times at my last count, 7 times. But these are the same dumb, spiritually dead Muslims who will call in and say, oh yeah, no one's watching.
Yeah, so Islam is bad for women. What's going to be the epistemic criteria for something being bad?
Really? You just like...
It's a simple question.
Didn't you hear me just say I'm ending my stream?
Oh.
You didn't hear me say...
Don't have one last discussion?
You didn't hear me say I'm ending my stream?
No, because I just joined.
You just joined?
Yep.
All right, well, considering you're a Muslim, I can't even verify if you're telling the truth or if you're doing taqiyya. So, look, I'll be back next week, Wednesday. Follow me if you want to have a conversation. We can talk then. All right.
Sure.
God bless. Guys. God bless, guys. See you soon.